Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. Whoa, how's it going, everybody? How's it going? All right, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of information that's come out just today. And the sheriff, he was on a whole bunch of different shows yesterday and put out information. Obviously, the FBI wished he hadn't. And so a lot of that's coming out today as well. But one of the interesting things was, me and Zozo were talking about it after the show. She brought up the fact that she wears a pacemaker. And, the pacemaker communicates with her Apple Watch. And we're talking about Nancy Guthrie here, and that they gotta. Just hold on, Pizza. Let me get through this stuff. My God. So it communicates with the Apple Watch, and then it quit communicating with the Apple Watch was found at the house, right? So then the pacemaker stopped communicating with the Apple Watch at 2 a.m. And what time did I say that this likely happened? Between 1 and 4 in the morning. Can I get a boom? Anyways, it stopped reporting at 2 a.m. So that means her pacemaker wasn't in it wasn't close enough to communicate with the Apple Watch at that point, right? And so now they know a precise time frame that she was removed from the house. Right. And by the way, when you're watching the show, we gotta see if we can have a good night in here. Man, I did 2 shows today and a video, and we didn't even, it was just so slow. So if you guys could help support the channel, that would be fantastic. This is my 3rd show today, and I put a video out. The portion of the video regarding the blood outside of Nancy Guthrie's home was right when I was making the video. I scrolled up and it went, oh wow, look at this. So I didn't have really a lot of time to look at it, but after that I got there's videos that News Nation and Brian Enton took, so that was good. Huh? Who you talking to? Who? You talking to me? Yeah, Savannah is the daughter of, I don't know if I said it wrong. If I did, I'm sorry. Savannah is the daughter of Nancy. Did I misspeak? Or did I type it in wrong on there? I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm trying to go so fast. Oh, the sister. Jeez, man, that's ridiculous. I was thinking of the sister because the sister I was looking at last night. Sorry about that. You're right. That was stupid. Let's see. Let me fix that. Got to fix 2 different. Well, just. God, that was dumb. Let's see. Yeah, because I was thinking about the sister of Savannah, who's another one of the daughters. She what do you call it? She lives right there, like 3 miles away, and her husband are the people who dropped them off at their home. Later, in the evening at like 9:45, and just geographically, the sister is right over here, and then right here is where Nancy Guthrie lives, and then the sister lived here at one point, and then I have this software program that I was able to put Nancy's phone number in. And then it showed that it pinged at this house at some point. I didn't say what day or anything. It was just in the past, at some point, it pinged at that house. So she'd obviously been, visiting her when she was there. And then they bought this new house over here for like $600. And then right over here is where Nancy was. Now, Brian Enton was just talking about how there's a helicopter up in the air. And I was able to get that. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. Okay, so the information that's out there right now that's newer is that it was said that there was actually blood found inside the house, which seems kind of obvious since now we all know that there was blood outside the house. And then there's blood outside the front door, and I think it looks like it's aspirated blood. It's got the really fine, like a cough straight into the ground or, something like that. That's what it looks like. And then it apparently looks like the Ring doorbell camera is removed. Now, I don't know about you, but everybody that has Ring doorbell cameras, the cameras themselves do not store video. Like my cameras don't have video on them. Not that maybe there's like internal memory on them, but there isn't like an SD card that you put in there. And then I know that it's also out there on the, what do you call it? So there might be storage right on it, I guess, but it's out on the cloud. Let me look. That's kind of interesting. Let's see. Do Ring doorbell cameras have internal memory storage? So maybe they do. Ring doorbell cameras generally, yeah, see, there you go. Do not have built-in, that's what I was thinking, internal memory storage for saving video recordings. Instead, they rely on the cloud storage. That's exactly what I thought. So, removing a Ring doorbell camera, in this case, I think was removed to be, not to be recorded. So I think at one point they came in from the side or something, wearing a mask, and then, or whatever they did, and then took it off so that it wouldn't record what they're going to be doing outside that same front door in a little while. It's not like they took it to get the video that was recorded. It means that they took it so it wouldn't record the video and put it to the cloud. I just said that, Beth. Yeah, I just said that. Let's see. Why did he cancel? Thank you, Jim Long. And thank you very much, Danny Mitchell. Very cool. Thanks for buying those memberships, you guys. And there was forced entry into the home. And I think the most interesting element almost is that they know the time that she was removed from the house is at 2 a.m. Now they can start focusing in on any ring door or other people's surveillance footage between 2 a.m. and maybe 1 a.m. and 3, something like that, just to really kind of narrow it in right off the bat. I'm a get to 12 months. What does that mean? Steams galore. What does that even mean? I'm a get to 12 months. I'm a get. Let's see. All right, so we got just a ton of, let's look at this video. This is the one on that Brian Enton took on News Nation. And see, doesn't that look like aspirated blood to you right there? I mean, I guess if that's a little dirt, and then that too, but it just feels like that's blood, you know. So if I went like that, that looks like at this moment she was like face down. It dripped out of her mouth or something, her nose, and then she coughed up, and it created that. That's what it looks like. And it's kind of, look at that, it goes all the way out, all around. See that? And it even looks like, you know, this is the center of it, and then it kind of goes out a little bit, and like that. I was thinking that maybe it was like 6 inches by 6 inches, but it could be a foot, I guess, because that would make that droplet less than an inch, which, you know, seems kind of reasonable. It's hard to say. I mean, there's other videos. Let's just watch the video. So it could be one of those 12-inch tiles. So I think that's where the Ring doorbell camera was there. I think. Or, you know, it could be that that's remnants of a... it looks like exactly where the camera would go. So, and then there's also another... I think that might be in the doorbell, or like a Ring. You could actually have a doorbell as well as the Ring doorbell. You can press both of them, or maybe this was just a Ring door camera and that was a doorbell. I don't know how they set it up. Yeah, I made a whole video on it, Kubi. Hey, thank you, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. It's pretty wild. They would just let somebody walk right up and do this, film like that. So it's all right there. And how wide are doors generally? Like 32 inches? So yeah, I think these are a foot. Because if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 36, probably 37, 38, 44 inches or something on the total width of that door there. So that would make sense that those tiles are about a foot. So that's pretty big. All right. Yeah, it is a lot of blood. Apparently there's blood inside the house. All right, let's see. So we had Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, and then let's see what we have here. Hi, Gray and Freaks. I haven't been able to catch live in a while. This case is so sad. Gray, I think you still may have the title wrong. It should have... Well, I think I fixed it. Still have it wrong? Oh my God. I'm just trying to do the show. It's hard to get going here. Okay, she is the... Oh God, you're right. Man, just... I thought I was talking about Savannah. Jesus. My God. I was just so busy today that to get this going, I just typed something in really fast and my brain didn't do it right. Maybe I'm getting old, you know. Maybe I'm getting, you know, what my mom has. Who knows? That'll be the joy of all the trolls out there. If I couldn't remember anything. I guess it should read... I know. You don't need to go out and check it after somebody just tells me. I see it, right? I fixed it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. People always tell me, like today I spelled ransom wrong, and, you know, I'm just trying to... There's just so much going on. It's crazy. They came back in court, by the way, in the Tyler Robinson one, and they had a couple more witnesses. I just didn't want to sit around and wait. You know, it was like 30 minutes when they had the little session where there was no recording or anything. And then they came back and talked to a couple more people, and I don't know, just wasn't into it. People weren't really into it either that were watching. Huh? All right, like I just fixed it just now. Case. Right. Okay. Man, that's pretty wild. Savannah today. What did I miss? A lot. A lot. I mean, I think that's what all of this is, too. So she was very, like, there was something, pretty severe wound going on. Or, you know, like, or her nose, you know, nose can bleed pretty heavily like that. It's interesting, though, that she, you know, she must have had blood in her mouth, because I really do think that that's what that is. What do you, don't you guys think that that's aspirated blood right there? Right there. Let's take a look at what aspirated blood looks like out in the... I'm almost positive that's what that is. Or it might be expirated. Let's see what the... Right here. See? Look at that. Doesn't that look exactly the same? See that? Look at that. You know, it's something. It's very likely aspirated, and it's right there. I don't know what else that could be with that fine misting like that. And here's another example. See that? That looks very similar. See how it's very kind of goes off in all directions, just like that. See? That doesn't have the picture just sitting there, but see, there's big droplets. I remember the sink in the Dyatlov case. You guys remember that in the sink? It's pretty, I don't know, like very filled with blood, droppings, and then there was misting going around. So he was coughing while he was at the sink. Well, I can tell because I've learned all about it. Let's see. Hey, such an odd case, Psycho. I mean, the thing is I'm pretty good at the blood pattern stuff. You know, the Dyatlov case is a good way to get like the first course, and then I bought a book on it called Practical Homicide, which is like there's pictures in there, it shows it to you, so I'm not just throwing it out there randomly. I bet you Joseph Scott Morgan would say that looks like expirated blood pattern, right? So you can go look for one, Rainbow, but that's what it's going to be. Yeah, so that was a great little just short video there that shows the kind of the main stuff. I wish it was kind of like pulled back and then walked all the way out and followed all the rest of the droplets, you know. There you have that. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's what I typed in, Mark. Yeah, Mark typed in, please support Grant Hughes' channel if you can. Thank you. That would be awesome. Thank you. All right. So there was all kinds of stuff like TMZ was talking about today. If you watch my video, I absolutely nailed it in terms of what exactly happened. Because remember this morning when we did the press conference and we played, the sheriff was talking and they really just answered questions. And man, I think he's shouldn't be in, never should be speaking to anybody. But he was asked questions. One lady asked, did anybody ask for any money or something? And he goes, we're looking into all tips. Well, nobody said that was a tip. They just said, has anybody ever, so then I thought, okay, somebody sent in a tip. That means that somebody sent in a ransom request. And then a little bit later, somebody goes, just to follow up on that, when the lady asked you about the ransom, you didn't say yes or no. You said that you were looking into every, lead and tip. And then he just got really defensive and just kind of rambled on. And then it immediately ended. There was no more questions after that. And I said, they have got a ransom request. Then TMZ, a little while later, said that they got a ransom request in the mail, but it was after the press conference. So I was like, oh, wow, somebody heard that and did that? But then I thought about it later, and I thought, well, it's almost certain that the sheriff had got one. So it must be that other outlets got the same ransom note before TMZ went out with it. They all kept it secret and gave it to law enforcement, like you should. But TMZ, being the jackasses that they are, they just go, yeah, whoa, and just get it out there as quick as possible, even though other people had it way before they did. And they do the same thing in the surveillance video when they just give these little chunks and zoom in how they want you, and you never get to see the real thing because it's just, I don't know why they do it that way. It drives me nuts. Hey, thank you, SKR Duncan. Or Skriduncan. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that they would just immediately put it out, and they said, well, we called law enforcement, and, they hadn't got back to us. But, yeah, look at this, you guys. Well, if they hadn't got back to you, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? All right, so so I think that that's exactly how it went, is that whoever it was sent out, and that makes it more possible that it's real. I mean, is that it isn't that it's just sort of TMZ getting it, that it went to other places first. I think that makes it a little bit more reasonable to believe that. And we have I have 4 Daily Mail articles that are all different. So, man, there's a whole bunch of stuff in these, and maybe some stuff to think about. Hey, thanks so much, Tiffany. Very cool. Covering this gray, we haven't had a ransom kid. Yeah, this case is, and it might not be a, what's rude, Wizard of Oz. It might not be a ransom. I mean, this could just be somebody who's trying to take advantage. We see this happen a lot. Take advantage of a situation, and they're using crypto and all this crap. So they could just be some random person, and you pay the money hoping, and they were just stealing money, and there's no way to track him. Do I think she's alive? It feels like they intended it. I guess it gets kind of weird because it feels like they intended to have her being alive, even though she's bleeding, because then you'd ask yourself, why would they take her out of the house? But it could be that whatever created the injury is something that if they'd left her there, I mean, maybe she, I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe she was dying, and if they'd shot her or something like that, there's a bullet in there, and they got to take her so that they didn't leave the information behind from the gun. Something like that. I don't really, but I mean, that seems really out there, right? Like, why would you take her out of there if you went there just to kill her? Were they going to try to make it look like she wandered away and disappeared? I mean, that wasn't going to work. Yeah, I mean, I think it's less likely she's alive, but I'm holding out hope. I don't want to throw that out the window because they did take her away, right? And I mean, it seems like they would have made sure she wasn't alive if they left her there. And if she knew them, then she wouldn't be able to talk because she wouldn't be alive. So what reason would you need to take her? Maybe they knew they were going to kill her, but asked for a ransom anyways. Through crypto and just steal it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just holding out hope. I mean, the fact that they removed her, and apparently it looked like she's still alive because she did cough up blood there, it looks like. I think that's very possible that she, I mean, when I say very possible, I just think it's possible she's still alive. I mean, I don't want to say very anything. This isn't one of those, this isn't one where I can really say, oh, there's no way. That is a lot of blood there, okay? I mean, that's quite a bit of dripping, but it's not like a huge, a pool of blood. There's droplets, and, she does seem to continue to bleed as they're going down the path. He just didn't film that part. I guess, like, when you look at this, you can kind of see it's there, like all these little dark spots, I'm pretty sure, is blood. See, like all this stuff. So there must be some even behind the camera over here leading all the way back out to the driveway, right? That was on the rug. Maybe that's a good question. Maybe that's the stuff, how they broke out the camera. It's hard to say. Look, maybe glass. Let's go ahead and look. Let's look at that. I don't know. I don't see any signs of, because apparently there's a sign of breaking in, but I don't see that yet. That looks like a full pane there. Now Zozo said she saw a shot where there was a black camera on there. And so maybe the reporting of the Ring camera being taken isn't accurate, but I think it is. It seems like it's been reported out there from law enforcement in different articles. All right, here we go. Let's do this. All right, before we do that, though, let me show you where the helicopter was. I haven't even loaded it up yet. So there was another helicopter out there just this evening. Brian Enton reported on it. And I have that location. I can just drag it in here. Here we go. It's going to go all the way down to here first. And if that's all it has, then I'm going to have to upload it now, because that means it hadn't completed yet. So we got that. Let me go to flight radar. Hold on. Oh, there it is. That's going back out there again. Or it looks like it passed it, though. Here, let me play back. You can actually play backwards on these. So if I go to the third, start playback, and then move it, slide it all the way near the end, and then maybe go... Let's see, right there's the end. So if I go back a little bit, we might see a helicopter flying around. Let's see. There's a plane there. I definitely saw one in here earlier. Yeah, that plane's going right over it. Oh, right there. See? Alright, so now I'm going to go over to the helicopter thing and then download it. So it should be February 3rd. There you go. That one's finished now. And now it's flying. It flew again, but I think it's still doing something. So I'm going to go right over the top of that. And now it should have the whole thing. Yeah, there it is. Wow, it's a way bigger file. So now I'm going to drag and drop this onto the screen, and poof, look at that, man. It flew right around her house again. So let's get rid of the non-necessary route information. And that's what it did. Looks like it didn't do a lot. And it's in the ground for some reason. So I guess I'd have to, let's see. Yeah, that's crazy. Look at that. So it flew out, and then it just flew right around the house for a little bit. See that? You can kind of see the circling there. I wonder what it was doing there again. Just news, like, hey, here's a B-roll footage. I mean, it's strange that you'd be out there again. It sure as hell didn't spend a lot of time. That's for sure. Maybe we can... Let's see, that's a huge trail in it, yeah. Let me go all the way to the bottom and turn it into one. Combine, and then I'll come back later. All right, you guys ready to go through some of these articles? Let's see. We'll just do them in order. So here's one of them. The Daily Mail, chilling photos of Nancy Guthrie crime scene as cops investigate a series of ransom notes sent to reporters. See, there you go. Now it went to other people. A chilling photo from the home of Savannah Guthrie missing mother shows blood spattered on the walkway as splattered, they say. As investigators probed a possible ransom note. The image showed blood puddle just feet from the doorstep from Nancy Guthrie's $1 million Tucson, Arizona home, and the Ring doorbell camera missing. It was unclear whether the Ring camera had been removed prior to the 84-year-old's abduction. So they're talking about it missing. The thing is, these Ring doorbell cameras do not store information. So what would be the only reason you would remove it is if you didn't want it to film something. But the camera, it's not, you wouldn't take it if you're trying to remove law enforcement from being able to see the video. You'd still be able to see it because it's out on the cloud. It was unclear whether the Ring camera had been removed prior to the 84-year-old's abduction. She was last seen at the house where she lives at around 9:45 on Saturday when she was mysteriously kidnapped. And by the way, the information that we have currently, don't you think that this has got to be somebody, it feels like it doesn't have to be anything, but I lean towards it's somebody that she knows. You know, they knew, it just feels like that. Like, if it's not an abduction for ransom, then it's somebody she knows. Because there's a reason that they took her out of there. I don't know, the whole story is it's bizarre, right? This is not normal at all. People say that would this story even be a big story if it wasn't? I think it became huge fast because of Savannah. However, the story itself, even without Savannah, would eventually pick up a hell of a lot of steam because it's absolutely nuts. This is not normal at all. I mean, this is sort of like Koberger, just a really strange situation that people, hopefully we can, put all the pieces of the puzzle together at some point and get it all figured out. And, oh yeah, another note, let me put that in my note here. I heard it on Megyn Kelly. I listened to her while I was walking today. Is that they the blood that they were testing? It turns out all the blood, every bit of the DNA that they tested currently is Nancy's. So the stuff that they thought maybe this will lead to The killer was actually Nancy's blood, and that's what he was referring to. Blood tested for DNA was... Okay. So that's sort of a dead end there, but maybe they have some touch DNA. But if you wore gloves, whew, man, that's going to be a tough one. Well, yeah, she covered that one, this one pretty, like it seemed like it was pretty reasonable. She doesn't cover the Koberger case well at all, though. She's terrible at it. I don't know why. It's just, you know. What's your gut? Usually, yeah, this is one of those ones that's, I would think that it would be, it's somebody that she knows, and she was removed from the home, but what was the reason she was removed from the home? Can anybody think of that? Other than, like I said before, in the Russell and Shirley Derman case, they were removed, I think, from the home to conceal the forensic evidence that would be left inside of them, or the witness. Like the wife was killed after the husband, and I bet you, and his head was cut off in that one, because that's probably where he was killed, with a gun or something, and they needed to take his head to get the bullet out of there, or it was proof of something. But it sort of has that feel to it, this case. Yeah, I mean, there's still the, well, the possibility of it being a sexual assault situation seems to be a little less currently because of the, you know, just being bleeding and like, unless they could have assaulted her there and she knew the person and then took her because of that. You know, that's definitely a possibility. And I know it sounds ridiculous. However, we've covered at least 15 cases where very elderly women have been assaulted. It's crazy. It sounds bizarre. It is crazy. It sounds ridiculous, but it does happen. And so I guess let's just say somebody went there and assaulted her. That would explain a lot of this, right? So they know her. They came in and assaulted her, but then I guess the part that's a little weird is like, would you really have planned it out so well where you take off the Ring camera knowing that you're going to take her out after that? I mean, I think you must know that you're taking her out of the house. You're not leaving her there alive. I don't know, man. I think it, when we start putting this all together, it doesn't sound like there's a very good outcome here. Because if the person knows who you are, this would have to be a stranger abduction for a ransom for her to still be alive right now. A stranger abduction for a ransom for her to still be alive. That would be... but if it's somebody that knows her, why would they... There's no way they could do a ransom. Because she'd go, oh yeah, it was Jim. Sorry, Jim's out there, but it's just the name that I use every single time. All right? Who said the camera was missing in the bedroom? Wow, I wonder when that would have happened. It's pretty crazy. But hey, guys, if you're out there, if you want to help support the channel, you can get channel memberships for people. There's a lot of people in here that aren't channel members. That'd be a cool day to do that. Thank you up there to Kelly Snyder and KKJX2MS. Yeah. The desperate hunt for Nancy Guthrie took another dramatic twist on Tuesday, with investigators now probing possible ransom notes. Pima County Sheriff's Office acknowledged a ransom note sent to TMZ on Tuesday afternoon, 3 days after the 84-year-old was snatched from her $1 million home in Tucson, Arizona in the middle of the night, triggering a desperate search. That picture is a little clear, isn't it? Yeah, it's almost like, you know, it makes me wonder if somebody stood over here, because what you'd want to do if there's a Ring camera, you'd probably want to come in from the side originally, because that's out on the cloud. So the thing is before the camera was removed, there might be some indication of a person there, like literally wearing, you know, he probably has a mask on or something, and then they remove the camera for what they're going to be doing later. Let's see. Go down here. Yeah. Nancy's Ring doorbell camera was also missing, though it's unclear whether it was removed prior to her disappearance. A nitrile glove is pictured at the scene of Nancy's house. I'm not sure what that means. What is a nitrile? That doesn't look like a glove. It looks. Let me see. One of those? Does that look like that at all to you guys? That doesn't look like rubber or anything. That doesn't look like a glove. What are they talking about? I'm being just serious here. Does that look like a glove? Like a rubber glove to you guys at all? Do you see that? Yeah, it doesn't have that feel at all. It's just... TMZ reported that the note, which is said it could not verify as being sent by the abductor, demanded millions in Bitcoin for the release of 84-year-old. The outlet said that the note demanded the Bitcoin be sent to specific cryptocurrency address, which it verified as a real Bitcoin address. The note concluded with deadline for the ransom being paid or else. TMZ said it included details unknown to the public, including damage caused to Nancy's home and what she was wearing at the time. I mean, that'd be pretty interesting if they actually have that, but haven't they put that out in the paper of what she was wearing? Like in the reports? During a press conference on Tuesday afternoon, he twice refused to answer when asked if ransom demands had been made. Well, he answered. He just answered in a way that made no sense. He said stuff like, we take all tips seriously. Have you got a ransom in the note? We take all tips seriously. Almost like it was, hey, Jim, when they ask you about the ransom, just say we take all tips seriously. And almost like a robot. He was almost like, have they sent in a ransom note? And right on the T's already answering. You guys remember in A Few Good Men, when the medical examiner guy was up there, he was already answering questions like a robot before it was even asked? Yeah, that's what it seemed like. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean dropped off at the church? I didn't say she got dropped off at the church. If I said that, I'm sorry. I could see me saying it because I'm so today just all over the place, trying to get everything. There's just so much going on. What I meant to say if I said that was that her daughter, Nancy's daughter, and her daughter's husband had taken her out. They were at playing mahjong, whatever the hell they were doing. And they were dropped off. They dropped her off at 9:45, they say. Okay, that's the only information they have. And wouldn't the Ring doorbell camera have that, though? But anyways, dropped off at 9:45, and then she didn't make it to church the next day. And so that was enough to alarm people to go, wow, she's always here. Where is she? And they went and checked on her, and then they see this blood. And, that's obviously what the sheriff was talking about originally when he said that there, stuff at the scene. I don't know why it would take them that long. They should have deemed it a crime scene immediately when you see, big droplets of blood and somebody's missing. I guess you could say maybe it was an accident at that point and they stumbled out of the house. But no, that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, I guess there's a timeline in this one. So Nancy Guthrie, 84, arrives at her home in the Catalina foothill area of Tucson, Arizona. She had spent the evening having dinner with family, including her daughter Annie. I think her name is Anne, no I in it, who drove her home. It is believed Annie is the last person to have seen her mother at 9:45. And then 2 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker last syncs with her Apple devices at home. That means she's been removed from the residence right at 2 a.m., which is right in the 1 to 4:30 in the morning that I said. Investigators believe she is abducted around this time. Yeah, see? I'll tell you what, you guys, you watch this show, you're going to get reasonable. We use common sense, logic, and reason over here, and that's what you get. And then 10:11 a.m., family members arrive at her home. So Nancy fails to arrive at her regular church service at 11. And isn't it amazing that 11:10, family members arrive at her home to find it empty? That seems really quickly to get, oh, where is she? And then run over there, right? Isn't that's a little weird. 11 a.m., she doesn't show up for church, and you're already just zipping over there at 11:10. And then 11:15, Nancy is reported missing to Pima County Sheriff's Department. But here's one thing I would say was a little strange about that, is that when you got home and she's not there, and you obviously can see the blood all over the ground there, wouldn't you call the police like at 11:08? I mean 11:11? I mean like 1 second later, and not 12:15, an hour and 5 minutes later? It just seems like that's a no-brainer. But you never know. People just do however they do. But hey guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel. That's my channel relies on you guys. Last year, my channel, out of the income from the channel, we donated $46,200. We're at $283,000 out, and it also helps support my channel. I have a lot of expensive stuff like the $1,800 or $1,900 a year for 3D Studio Max, etc., etc., etc. So if you guys want to buy some channel memberships, it helps get more members in here. It also helps support the channel. So if you have the ability to, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Let's see. Sheriff Chris Nanos says he believes Nancy was taken against her will between 9:30. Well, now, but that's not accurate now. She was taken against her will between 2 a.m. and 11 a.m., right? Because, it's obviously way before 11 a.m. because she never left her house. But, here's the thing. She was taken from the home against her will at 2 a.m. That's all you got to say, because it stopped reporting to the network at that time. Who are you talking to, Maria? Jesus. Let's see. Definitely a nosebleed. Well, there's also aspirated blood there, though, Nurse Jones. So her nose could be bleeding, so maybe blood is in her mouth and she coughed it up. Definitely could be. You can't say it's definitely a nosebleed, but, it very well could be. That's something we suggested as well. All right, so I don't know why they still have this thing where he says, oh, well, it's between 9:30 and 11 a.m., 9:30 p.m. and 11 a.m. Well, it's not, right? Because now you know that her pacemaker stopped communicating with the Apple Watch at 2 a.m., and that means that's exactly when she was removed from the home. So all you can say now is we believe she was taken against her will right around 2 a.m. in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to have this huge range here at this point. Another report in the room picked up on Nanos' evasiveness. Yeah, we did. We picked up on it immediately in here. We have all kinds of investigative leads we're working on. Another reporter in the room picked up on Nanos' evasiveness and questioned You were asked if there was a ransom, and you didn't say no. Does that mean that a ransom has come in? Nanos again avoided the question, saying, "We are following all leads." So that means they had got the note before going into that press conference. And you remember how somebody said that, somebody did say that there was, the press conference was delayed a little bit. You know, so maybe there was an original time, and I wonder if that's exactly why it was delayed. And he came in there, they were a little, that's why he was a little off, because he's like, oh my God, we got this guy. You know, and then he was asked about the very thing that they had just discovered before going in there, so it kind of freaked him out a little bit. Thank you, Saturn, dreaming of Mercury. Sounds like Savannah and Annie were in their mother's life. What do we know about the brother, Cameron? Do we know anything about him? No, I don't know anything about him. I didn't even really think about the brother, or if he had one or not. I might look that up. Or hold on a second. All right, I'm gonna look. Let me look at that up real quick. Just something. What do we know about Cameron? Well, let's see. Let me go to the relatives. Does he show up in here? So her husband's name is Tommaso. I don't see anybody named Cameron. I see a Christopher, a Charles. That's about it. Yeah, let me check the under the mother. I was looking at Annie's. Maybe her information isn't the same. I'm sure it's not Charles. Well, there's a individual that was somebody named Charles, probably your husband, maybe. Looks like he died in 1988. I don't see anybody with that name associated. So. Yeah, I'm just it's just something you can't ignore, that you had Annie and her husband dropping her off at 9:45. You know, Annie had just purchased, you know, it looks like it's a newer house. It's like $600,000. And, you know, you just don't know we don't know anybody anymore. You know, there's just the craziest stuff you've ever seen that happened. The world's gone mad. Nanos, let's see. The sheriff also addressed reports that a doorbell camera had been removed from Nancy's home, saying that it was unclear if it had been removed before Nancy's abduction. Well, how come it's not clear? I mean, how do you not know the answer to that question? Nanos added that no strange cars had been seen in the area around the time of Nancy's kidnapping, and that no tire tracks were found. Tuesday's press conference offered few new details over Nancy's disappearance, and FBI agent John Edwards only spoke briefly. Man, that guy was like a robot. Did you see that guy? Here, check this thing out. Whew, wow, I was actually wondering, you know, when he got married, did he talk? Was that what his speech sounded like? Let's see if I can find this. I think he's up there pretty early on, right? Right there, look at.
In our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs.
Man, you know, that's a great video to play. Yeah, I don't see his name in there at all. when you have his name in there. I know, it's Nancy's, right? You have her name, but I don't see her. I don't see a person named Cameron associated with her on Ben Verified. So that's interesting. You know, it's weird that it's not in there. Annie's on there, but Savannah's not in there. Obviously, she's probably, you know, higher profile. Isn't there? Well, if you have a comment that you want me to read and we can discuss, put it in the super chat. We'll put it up there. Let's see, Gray. I'm not going. I probably won't be going to CrimeCon. I've been there. I've been to 2 of them. I've had booths there, but I'm just like, you know. So. I don't know if you guys saw earlier, though, but I have these photographs, and I'm going to see what you guys think. These are ones from a drone that they put up there, and you see these tracks right there. It almost seems like a car backed in, even though you can easily drive around because it actually loops in. But the way that's way over there, it seems like you would have to kind of just back to right in there maybe, and then maybe right there is where they put her in the car and drove off, because apparently, you know, it's all the way down. The door is right in there, and then she was taken clear down here. Hey, thanks, Charlotte Denny. You know, it's amazing. It's always the same freaks that have been around for years that support my channel. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. And we're called the Freaks here, if you don't know that. Crime freaks. By the way, I had a license plate that said Freak 1. You know, I was the #1 freak, right? And then my wife got that car, so I got another car. And then it said Freak. And then I go, well, I need the one before that, so I put Freak 0, right? But then when you read it, it looks like Freak O. And then Diddy was out there, and he kept having freak-offs. And I go, you know what? Forget it. I got rid of it. I just immediately got rid of it and switched it to a different one. It was kind of embarrassing. I would actually pull up places and people would look at it and go, hey, you know what that means? I actually heard somebody say that. You know what that means? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's a freaking license plate. Anyways, it was funny to me. Man, you guys are like, whew. My God. All right, so that's her right there. Was reportedly by a horde of media vehicles, but no sign of the police, despite it being an active crime scene. Yeah, that gets incredible. Why isn't there yellow tape still, and it's completely cordoned off? Yeah, I just don't understand that. Why are you allowed, like, a day after to walk up and take video? I'm glad somebody was able to do it, but man, that's pretty weird if you think about it. Now, who said the blood was fake? No way. Probably somebody right there in the Candace Owen fan, something like that. I didn't tell you about that one? 8675309. Meanwhile, Guthrie herself is holed up in 4 miles away as her sister Annie's, they spell it with an I. At least Ben Verified has it as just an E there, but 650,000 3-bedroom home. So a bundled up blue t-shirt. See, it's a t-shirt, not a glove. Could be seen next to the front door, although it wasn't clear whether they had anything to do with, if it had anything to do with the investigation. But look up here. They said a nitrile glove is pictured at the scene. No, it's a t-shirt. In the same article, you debunked yourself. That's classic Daily Mail, though. Daily Mail is like, I'd say, 85 to 90% accurate. So you get some good stuff, but some of it's not. Yeah, cool. Ex-FBI profiler claims Nancy Guthrie was selected for abduction in advance. Well, of course. I mean, put a 1 if you didn't know that. You didn't know that she was selected for abduction in advance. I guess you could say that maybe things went awry and they abducted her. Hey, thank you, Eagle, Stars, and Stripes. The desperate search to find Savannah Guthrie missing mother is now approaching its 4th day. Nancy Guthrie, 84, was snatched from her home in the Catalina foothills. Investigators say there were signs of forced entry and that Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple Watch data at around 2 a.m. That's the most significant piece of information that we have currently. And so now they should tell everybody to look at their, between, I'd say, 1:30 and 2:30, look at their Ring doorbell cameras. And then after you look at that, if you don't see anything, move out to the edges, go the other direction on both sides, but quickly get to that. More than 48 hours on, officials are now in a race against time to bring her home safely. As the search intensifies, experts told the Daily Mail that key clues of the scene suggest Guthrie was abducted by a stranger, likely a man in his 30s or 40s. Well, I tell you what, if she was abducted by a stranger, that's better news for her, if believe it or not. Because if she's abducted by a stranger and a ransom is the goal, and she wouldn't recognize him, I mean, maybe he doesn't even have a mask on, but he doesn't know who the hell he is, so he won't be able to say anything. He could just disappear and never be seen again. And so there's a chance she's still alive if it's a stranger. But if it's somebody that is a family member, how would you let her live knowing that she'll just be able to tell people what happened? You get it? So it's better news that it's a stranger, believe it or not. In my opinion, you might disagree, but that's just how I look at it. And again, that's called logic, reason, common sense. As the search intensifies, experts told the Daily Mail the clues. Okay, we just did that. 30 to 40s. Thanks, lady. So we had this one, Eagle, Stars, and Stripes. And then Lady Jane said, why did the police release the home back to the family to access with gruesome blood? I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's weird. I just think the whole thing, the sheriff is just so out. I think the sheriff is completely out of his league in this one. If they come up with an answer, it's because the FBI showed up. All right, it has nothing to do with. The sheriff seems like a really nice guy. Can we all agree with that? He seems like he'd be a great grandfather or uncle or somebody like that. Like he'd just be this really fun guy to have around, etc. But man, every press conference I've seen so far, he doesn't do it right. And that sometimes that's good for us because we hear things. I mean, he went on like 15 different shows yesterday, and some of them he would, pretty much divulge the entire case to these people, and then the next one say, "Well, I can't say that." I mean, he's just all over the place. But in some ways it's good for us because we get to hear stuff that we might not have heard if you had a really polished person that knew what not to say. Hey, Joey, are you okay? I hate when people type like that. Does anybody like it when somebody types like this? Anybody appreciate people like that? They just come in and go, you see it on the screen there. I just think that's just, you're just, people like you are just sick, like just say you believe she's dead, whatever. But when you just talk like that, it's not cool, And thank you, Daniel Gosen up there. What was the other one? I don't know. I just don't like it. People just come in, they want to be cool. They probably think they're like a psychic or something, you know. Look what I'm going to type in. Said there was no street lights. Yeah, there's no street lights there. We said that yesterday. You don't have to be at the scene to know that. There's none. As a matter of fact, 8675309 was here when we were talking about that. There was absolutely zero streetlights anywhere. Right? You just go to Street View here. Let me turn off the flight stuff, and you look around, and I mean, just from this angle, you can see that there's absolutely not one light anywhere. And I think what this is somebody that wants to just kind of, you know, this is an area where it's the old, you know, sort of the old country, the way it used to be. It's like nobody wants lights all over the place. You probably want to go outside and look at the stars, and it's completely dark, and you can look at them. And there's places like that. That's why everybody's property's got an acre. It's just the way it is. All right, there is nothing here. I don't even know where the nearest... Wow, look at that. So that was 2008. Looks like way more, you know, way older looking. So anyways, yeah, there's nothing out here. And in fact, the Ring cameras are going to have a problem out here. Hey, look at 8675309. It's trying to go for a wave, everybody. Yeah, we've gone over that, Joy. And hers didn't go dead. You're incorrect, Joy. It didn't go dead. It stopped communicating with her Apple Watch that was still at the house. So maybe if you learned the case a little bit better, you wouldn't come in here and make your ridiculous, just blatant comments. Not that people don't agree with you, but when you talk so callously like that, you're not somebody that's fun to, you know, it's just, it sucks, okay? So just be better. Maybe she was going to drive herself to church. She has a car, right? Yeah, I mean, so if you look, even if there was surveillance camera, like this house right here, if it has one on it, right, you know, is that a camera right there, maybe? That one would possibly pick up a car, but if the car came in from the other direction, you wouldn't have a damn thing. But look how every house is set back, deep back in there. I don't know if she drove herself to church or not. She has a car, though. Yeah, well, that was daytime. That was 11, right? Thank you, Dennis the Agent. Some crazy stuff the chat is coming up with. Oh, yeah. It's... doesn't matter what case it is, the crazies come out. Have you thought of the chupacabra, Gray? Have you thought of the chupacabra yet? No, I didn't. How come? Because I'm not a lunatic. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's just... this is bad. This is November 2025, this shot. So how there just absolutely is no... There's no lights, but notice how there's tons of homes here, but when you're on that street, you don't see one of them. I mean, you don't see any. It's just, it's kind of a neat design, really. It's pretty amazing. You can't see anything. Everybody feels like they have their own little piece of heaven there, and they know that there's a lot of neighbors around, but you just don't really see them. It's pretty wild. Right, it goes back to this. All right. The desperate search for Divine Savannah. Well, I think we were down here, right? Dr. Brenna Fox, a former FBI special agent in the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit and criminal professor at the University of South Florida, said, if it was a family member or somebody who knows the house, they wouldn't have forced entry. See, that part was something we brought up yesterday. The forced entry, why would...
You know, why would somebody like Annie, or let's just say Annie, there was some nefarious act going on there or something with her or somebody. They'd have a key, so they'd get in. But what if it was somebody that she knew, one of the workers that help out around the house, something like that. And maybe there was one that was more trusted than others and had a key, and then possibly somebody connected to them got the key and planned all this. Yeah, is there any way we could hit that like button, you guys? All right, so let's go ahead and hit that like button right now. Unfortunately, because we don't have enough likes, I have to play the auctioneer sound. So here we go. Hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button, 40. It's one of the easiest damn things to do in the world. Use your nose, use your toes, whatever blows. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing in the world. Just hit that like button. 5, 10, 15, 20. All right. Thank you. How do you know that, Linda? I mean, I wouldn't argue with you, but how do you know that? As the search intensifies, experts told the Daily Mail, that's the 30 to 40 years old, Dr. Brenna Fox, a former FBI special agent, so they think that maybe the person is 30 to 40, a stranger. If it was a family member of somebody who knows the house, they wouldn't have forced entry, and they probably would have had a key if they were a family member. If she knew them, they would have been likely to have carried out a ruse to get her to go with them and go into the vehicle. Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible point. Like if she knew them, but what if it was somebody she knew, like, oh, they worked there or something, but she didn't really know them. There's no reason they should be in the middle of their house in their bedroom at their bed. I mean, I think you're kind of leaving that part out. It wasn't like she answered the door. Apparently, it sounds like well, at least the sheriff said at one point that she was abducted from her bed. Do we know that that's true? I guess we don't. I don't know. I think they've kind of blocked out those cameras. You know, if there's a camera that looks out over that area, that'd be pretty crazy. But hey, guys, if you guys could please help support the channel, buy some channel memberships for people, that would be great. We're still, you know, sort of struggling all day today. 3 different shows, and each one of them. This one's better, but it's still, we're not even half of like a normal night. So if you guys have the ability, that would be great. Thanks. Huh? No, that's not what happened. They said no now what she was abducted. She said no now that what? Damn 3 wow of gray. What is that? What's going on in the chat, man? I can't even understand anything that anybody's typing. It's wild. I just searched to find Savannah Guthrie missing mother. So that's her, Savannah. Another shot of the driveway. Nobody peeled out of there, it doesn't look like. The fact that Guthrie left her cell phone and medication behind, plus the trails of blood found at the property, indicate this was not the case and that she did not go willingly. But being a stranger doesn't mean Guthrie was targeted at random. Whoever abducted her had most likely selected the elderly woman in advance and had surveilled her, learning her habits. Yeah. And they knew about the Ring camera. This was not just a random selection of the victim. Right. I mean, the thing is, I picked 2 o'clock in the morning is exactly around the time frame where usually everybody's asleep. A lot of times elderly people get up at 5 in the morning. So you have this window between like midnight and 5 in the morning. So you pick right in the middle of that, and it's like 2:30, right? And that's like the time where nobody's going to be awake. You break into the house, and so I don't know. Let's do a poll on this. Anybody hear what I said? We need to get the support going up for the channel. Let's see, random or oh, here we go. Oh yeah? Yeah, where's that report? You know? Where are you reading that report there, Joy? Hey, Joy, let me just tell you something. You're incorrect about the case so far. Okay? I don't have much more patience for your craziness. It's not working. All right? All right. Thank you. I know, I didn't say to type it in the chat. Just do the poll up here. Right. Yeah, exactly. You'd think they would have called 911 within 15 minutes after they couldn't find Nancy and there's blood on the ground. Of course, you're going to still look around, etc., you know. Let's see. But it says, yeah, Guthrie lives at in a $1 million home in a wealthy neighborhood. Savannah is estimated to make around $7 million a year as one of the nation's most well-known faces on the Today Show. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos refused to say Tuesday if a ransom demand had been made in Guthrie's case. The sheriff's office later confirmed it was aware of a note sent to TMZ. Right, but there was already notes sent to other places. So TMZ is getting all the credit because they came forward with it, where the other outlets did the responsible thing and didn't come forward with it and gave it to law enforcement. That's why the sheriff knew about it when he went into that press conference. Nanos previously said he does not believe Guthrie was targeted because of her daughter's fame and fortune. But that doesn't necessarily mean there is no financial motive. Fox explained that the days of ransom money being left and kidnapped victims handed over are long gone because they rarely work. Today, with cameras everywhere, electronic surveillance, and cell phone tower technology. Yeah, that's the thing. But it could just be that they want the money first, and then they just disappear. You know, she might have been dead, but they're still asking for a ransom. Instead, a financially driven assailant would be more likely to seek remote access to a victim's bank account, pension or 401k, and perhaps transfer funds to Bitcoin so it is untraceable. If the motive isn't financial, the other alternative is more chilling, that the motivation is purely for violence and thrill-seeking. Fox pointed out that Guthrie does fall into several risk factors that could make her a vulnerable target. She is elderly, has poor mobility, lives alone, lives in a wealthy area, and has little to no security at her home. Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's see. I hope she safely returned to her loved ones soon. Yeah. I think everybody hopes that. And so most people knows the victim. Yeah. See, the thing that knows the victim makes a lot of sense, because that would be why you'd have to take her, because she knows you. And then if she's alive to talk, then you're screwed, right? If you didn't know her, I mean, they didn't really explain up in here why she was abducted if they didn't know her. Just to take her out. And by the way, her purse wasn't removed. Nothing. So how would they access the bank accounts that you were talking about? This is just, it seems like it's just her being taken out of the home with whatever she was wearing when she was sleeping, since this is at 2 in the morning. And if that's the case, why would they be taking her out of there? You know, we only have 9 gifted channel memberships, you guys. We got to get moving on that. So if you're out there, if you could please just consider supporting the channel, that would be great. It sucks having to ask. We're so far away from just a regular day, even with 3 shows. It's very, very disheartening. Thank you, Lynn Lowe. Yeah, but don't you think they would have said that, Mary? That they would have said that there's things that are missing. Instead it was just, oh, yeah, the purse is there. Yeah, I mean, everyone always has, it doesn't mean this, you know. I mean, okay, it doesn't mean they didn't take the new set of plastic chopsticks she got for eating sushi either. How do you know, though, Gray? I don't know. I mean, we can all say stuff like that. All we can go by is they said her purse was there, her cell phone was there, her car was there. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. On the unforgiving landscape, Del Quento explained, makes even modern surveillance unreliable. Neighboring cameras may be rendered useless, their views blocked by their foliage. Yeah, I said that 2 days ago. That can easily, or maybe yesterday, it seems like 2 days ago, hide a person or a vehicle moving in or out. Yeah, the shrubbery and everything, it makes the surveillance cameras useless other than your own home. While Guthrie's high-profile family connection may have been known locally, Del Queto, who has offered to help in the search, is careful not to jump to conclusions. What he does emphasize is geography, with southern Arizona sitting on the edge of the U.S.-Mexico border. We're on the southern border. You're dealing with an international crime all the time, and there are too many variables to rule out anything. Yeah, I tell you what, though, if it turns out it turns out to be a legal alien, boy, what's that going to do? You know, I'm sure where the daughter works is, they're always for illegal aliens and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder what they would think if that's what the case was. Yeah, see, we got the trolls in here, you guys. We got to get the moderators, got to jump on these people quickly. Yeah, we always get the trolls. This property is in the foothills. It's very dark. Yeah, that's kind of a good question. I mean, maybe the ransom note's just totally bogus. Law enforcement would know that, though. All right, here's another one. Oops. Yeah, what we could do here in a minute is try to figure out where the cell towers are. Hey, thanks, Tamsters. Man, I thought you guys forgot about me for a while. it's just so difficult. Hey, no problem. I think that was the one from before. Let me open that back up again. Yeah, no problem. Who committed this crime was very bright. Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple Watch in the early hours of Sunday as fears grow for Savannah's abducted mother. Investigators have discovered that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her Apple Watch when she was potentially abducted in the early hours of Sunday morning. Police sources revealed that the 84-year-old's heart device last sent data to the watch at around 2 a.m. Sunday. And that means that she was gone because her Apple Watch was still sitting there. Investigators told the outlet that Nancy's Apple product was left inside her home, which likely means it stopped syncing when the pacemaker was out of range. There you go. Smartwatches can be connected to health devices to keep track of data via Bluetooth. Pacemakers are surgically implanted and are used to treat irregular heart rhythms, and they work by sending a small electrical signal to the organ. Officials previously said Nancy, whose daughter is Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, was last seen at her home around 9:45 on Saturday evening. The Apple Watch data offers a possible time of kidnapping and offers it's not just possible, that is the time. You know, it's just... Now let's do a poll in here. All right, there we go. And so this should be 100%, but what it'll be is the other portion are the number of trolls that are watching. Because if your brain doesn't work, you'll say no, right? See, we're already at 88%, so we can always count the percentage of trolls that we have. Either that or your brain stopped working after grade school. But Gray, what about is the time the Apple Watch stopped communicating the time she was taken from the house? Yes. Okay. It means that the watch, her pacemaker, was too far from the watch to communicate, and it never communicated again. So if you think that it didn't, that means there's something wrong with it. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your brain, okay? Unless you want to give me a great explanation. Let's hear it. Go ahead. So for the ones that said no, go ahead and give me the reason. That's amazing. So 140 people answered. That means we have 29 either trolls or people who missed grade school. Let's see. Dr. Office should still have kept receiving pacemaker updates. No, because she needed to have her watch to do that through the cellular. So that's not how it would work. She'd need to have her cell phone with her or a watch that has cell phone connectivity to send the pacemaker data. Right? It doesn't send a signal out in the air right out of your chest to the, the ether, the... What the hell is an Apple Watch? Jim Lon said. Yeah, good point. What the hell is that? It would still send signals. It would just say that it was at 0. So it's, what do you mean? It's not a good point. Right. All right, now we have 37 people that didn't go to grade school. Hey, thanks, Charisse Rodriguez. Gray's so mean just because they thought different. Listen, we use logic, reason, and common sense on this site here. Can anybody give me a logical reason that out of all the time that her phone was always connected to her Apple Watch, that this one time at 2 in the morning when she goes missing, it stopped communicating with the Apple Watch? Doesn't that make it obvious at that point that that's when she was removed from the house and the watch was too far away from her physical body to continue to receive the signal from the pacemaker? There's almost no other answer for that. Okay? Now, maybe there is, but I don't know what it is. And neither do you who are saying no up there. So the people saying no, they don't have an explanation. They just say no to be argumentative. No, I'm not. Hey, sugar. If your brain worked correctly, you'd hear that I'm arguing with the people who said no. Let's see. The police more than likely know a lot more than they are telling us. Well, they obviously did, because from the get-go, they had these huge droplets of blood outside. And thank you, Charisse Rodriguez and Jim Lon. Cardiac monitoring company has the correct answer. Well, no, it doesn't. The correct answer is that it didn't continue to report. That's probably who they contacted, obviously. I mean, right? Okay. The police have the right answer. They let these people know in their interviews, okay? So they know that they were able to check and see that it stopped connecting to the Apple Watch because the Apple Watch was at home. She likely would take the Apple Watch off while she was sleeping because it's right next to her and it would still work. And then she'd put the Apple Watch back on in the morning, when you're charging it, for example. I charge my watch at night. I have one of the Google Fit watches or whatever the hell you call them. And I just charge it at night and then I put it right on in the morning when I wake up. I'm sure that's probably what she was doing. And she never had the opportunity to put it back on. It wasn't like the people that broke in said, hey, would you like to put your watch on first? Okay, and make sure to have the watch. Okay, great. That's not how it worked. It doesn't matter who's whatever they are. All right, let's see. If that was true, they would have found Gene Hackman the next day he died. What does that even mean? If what was true? Yeah, if it was sent to the... I don't get it. They probably just weren't paying attention to it. That was part of one of the big elements in that case. Remember that? Who's Greg? And who's Joy? What are you saying, Joy? Where's Joy? Somebody said Joy's a cardiac nurse. All right, what are you trying to tell us? It stopped communicating with the Apple Watch, and I'm sure they said, hey, have you guys been receiving any signals? And they go, no, it stopped at around 2 in the morning. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Joy's a cardiac nurse. Jesus. I don't know what Joy is. She's the one that came in and said, she's dead. Yeah. Okay, I got to get rid of you, Joy. Just not interested in you. All right? Maybe come back tomorrow if your brain starts working better. All right. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Richard Watts. Sure, Emor, I guess. I don't know what that means. I didn't even understand what you were saying. Those saying no will be the first to get the facts because their knowledge of the facts supersedes everyone else's need to know. Huh? Hey, thanks, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. And then we also had Richard Watts, the only person allowed to type in all caps in here. Okay? Guys, come on. It was clearly Mossad. Oh, yeah. Just ask Candace Owen. She'll tell you what it was. Yeah, she's a genius. The sheriff, I don't know if he seemed to think she was alive. He seemed to think, he was crying. I think he's sort of, I think when I heard him speak, I could tell that he thought she probably wasn't alive, but was holding out hope. And I think that's how everybody should be in this situation right here. Okay, investigators discovered Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with their Apple Watch. See, that's what they discovered, that it quit syncing with their Apple Watch when she was potentially abducted in the early hours of Sunday morning. Police sources revealed that the 84-year-old's heart device last sent data to the watch at around 2 a.m. I mean, that is just crystal clear that that's the time she was abducted. Investigators told the outlet that Nancy's Apple product was left inside her home. So the watch that it was synced with was left inside her home, and probably because she was charging it, which likely means it stopped syncing when the pacemaker was out of range. Doesn't that just make complete sense? Put a 1 if that doesn't make sense to you. And then we'll figure out why. That's what obviously we look up here, we see there's 267 votes. That means at least 70 people in here's brains don't work. This is the same people that believe in the conspiracies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's crazy to me. I don't get it. It says smartwatches can be connected to health devices to keep track of data via Bluetooth. Pacemakers are surgically implanted and are used to treat irregular heart rhythms. Officials previously said Nancy, whose daughter in Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, was last seen at 9:45. The Apple Watch data offers a possible time of kidnapping and offers a fresh perspective on the Daily Mail's revelation that Nancy may have been dragged from her bed in the dead of night. Yeah, that sounds like, I think the sheriff said something like that. Was she really dragged from her bed in the dead of the night? Or was there a confrontation and she was, got out of bed and... Now, what do you think the answer is, Patriotic Revolution? Yeah, they don't just stop. And by the way, if the pacemaker had a beating heart and then it stopped beating for some reason, it's still sending a signal. It's just going to say 0, it's not going to have a beat in there, right? I would assume it doesn't just immediately stop ever sending signals again because it still has an electrical signal in it. It'll just show that your heart's not beating. Doesn't that make sense? I think it'd be weird if it went, oh, the heart's not beating, okay, and then it somehow shuts down the entire thing. Who said figuratively, not literally? Thank you, Timothy Cecil. Yeah, well, here's the thing, everybody. If you're new to my channel and you haven't watched, what we do over here is we use logic, reason, common sense, work through the facts of the cases. We generally accept what is put on probable cause documents, and then if something doesn't make sense that's on a probable cause, then I have an issue with it, and then there's a problem. And that happens in cases. But generally, I don't distrust investigators right out of the chute. But if something gives me a reason to, then I don't trust them. And I've done that in other cases, but most of the time, that's not the case. But we use logic, reason, and common sense, and we don't allow, when people come in and they have these crazy conspiracy theories, and everybody gets excited about them. That doesn't work here, because we don't do that. And when all the dust settles, had you been watching over here, you would have been right where the answer was. You'd be right there. And there's been, I'd say about 90% of the cases we cover, we just nail right, just boom, okay? And it's just the truth. You can listen to all the other ones, the cool experts that know this and that, but they usually go down the rabbit hole because they know it's more sensationalistic and more interesting to the viewers, and that's why they get a lot of viewers because of that. And I just don't do it. Now we're going to delete every comment like that, Dead Flowers, because you're just here to be a troll. The whole troll community shows up in here whenever I have a night where there's more than the amount of people they want to be watching here. You know, they get upset about it. It's just crazy. It never ends, man. Law enforcement sources said that blood drops were found leading from the entryway of the house to the driveway. And also they're saying that there was blood inside the house. And a doorbell camera she owned was removed by the time investigators arrived on Sunday. Yeah, see, that's... And what we were talking about earlier is the fact that the front door Ring doorbell camera was removed. That was purely for them not being caught on camera, not to, you know, sort of gather the video after it was recorded, right? Because those cameras do not record data into themselves. They just sort of send it out to the cloud. So the person who removed that, if it indeed was removed prior to the abduction, then they did it just to hide what they were doing, so that it wouldn't make it to the cloud, because it's too late once you're on there. So I would think that a person is going to be seen on that camera on the cloud, going up to it with a full mask on, and then probably just tore it off, and then everything after that on that camera is not seen. Now, somebody earlier mentioned that there's a camera inside the bedroom or something, and I don't know what that is. I haven't heard that yet. There is a USAF electronic surveillance Gulfstream 5 that's been loitering over Tucson at low altitude, perhaps training mission, perhaps a coincidence. Also, I think the sheriff is new and out of... Yeah, I totally agree with that part. Do you know what if we go back out to, we move around on here. We don't just get stuck. All right, so well, there's the helicopter. Let's see if I move it. Okay, then the helicopter's out of there. Do you have the number of that jet you're talking about? Oh, yeah, there's another. Whoa, what's this guy doing up here? Up in the mountains over there. It's kind of weird. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. That's actually the sun right there. See that? They put that in there. Wild. I think I'm completely... Oh, wait, right there. There we go. I think that was right. No, that's a different one. The hell's that one doing? Troll removal. Yeah, we get a lot of them here. I'm sorry, guys. For those who are watching that don't understand, they just... Trolls, they love... If you don't believe in their conspiracies, they get angry. God, no, I think I'm lost now. Where is... Jeez. Wish I hadn't done... Wait, right there? Is that... That's not the right place. Okay, here comes a helicopter. weird. Wait, there's a lot of helicopters flying around. But I just don't know. Now I'm kind of lost at where I was. Let's see. So that is Tucson, and they're just kind of north in there. There's Tucson. So they're up here, right? It's kind of up in this area, I think. I think that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, right on the highway. Yeah, so somewhere right over in this area. I think that you can see the road's the same. So it's, yeah, right there. Yeah, that helicopter there went right over the house. Pure speculation, but if she's mortally injured and passes before getting separated from the phone, the system might auto-prompt an emergency response. Perhaps that was the point. Point of what? What do you mean? Might auto-prompt an emergency response. But if she's mortally injured... Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Right, so if her heart stops and it's still connecting, it would send out a emergency signal. However, if she's removed, it would just look like it was out of range and wouldn't set off a signal. That's a pretty interesting theory you got there, Saturn dreaming of Mercury. See, that one actually makes sense. If somebody knew how it all worked. You know, and that would be somebody that would be really close to her, that would know that, hey, you know, if something happens to me and my pacemaker is not detecting a pulse, it'll send out a signal, and the ambulance will get here really quick, and law enforcement. You know, something like that. If that's how they work, I mean, do they work like that? Are you guys sure of that, or? I will look at that later. What am I looking at? Oh, wait. Tamster said, I have a challenge. I have a challenge. 5 memberships and I'll match it. Oh, look at that. So all you guys have to do is gift 1 channel membership. 5 of those. And then Tamsters will do 5 all by herself. How cool is that? Hey, look at that. We've got Cynthia Gamez. Been here for 3 months. Man, 3 months of hell. Thank you. I'm just kidding. Thank you. I like that one up there, though. What do you guys think of that? By Saturn dreaming of Mercury. Does anybody know if it works like that? Does it send out an automatic signal? As long as it's still connected, right? But I would imagine they would set it up where if it just loses connection, it doesn't have an immediate emergency response. Hey, look at that. There's one. Lady Jane C. Very cool. Now, so they got another time frame in here. This part's concerning to me. 2 of these things are a little interesting if the timeline is correct. Nancy's pacemaker last synced with her Apple device. So that was at 2 a.m. We got that. But then she fails to show up to church at 11 a.m., right? And then 10 minutes later, they're already like, hey, they're already at her house looking for her. That just feels quick, if that's real, right? If that's a real time. And then if they got there at 11:10, wouldn't you almost immediately see the blood on the ground? I mean, you could have missed it, I guess, if you're not paying attention. But then at 12:15, they finally call law enforcement. It seems like you would call law enforcement at like 11:20 at the latest. After you looked around, didn't see her, there's blood. Okay, call the cops. All right, we got Charlotte Denny got one in there, so we just need... then Mary Melinda, so we got 3 already, man. We just need 2 more of those channel memberships. A second. All right, so I'm going to throw this up on the screen again just so you guys know. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I want to show you, this is what last year, what my channel, with everybody helping support the channel on a nightly basis with ad revenue, etc. You know, the trolls that always bash me, they never tell what the truth is. But look at this. Last year, you'll probably recognize a lot of these. We gave Texas EquiSearch $3,500 right out of the income. Wounded Warriors, $1,000. RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, $3,000. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, $4,021. I must have done their, you know, paid for the, whatever you call it, the processing. And then Ethan Smile for the Idaho 4 case for Ethan Chapin, $2,000. Bold.org, that's our scholarship fund. We have 3 $2,000 scholarships that we give out. And we gave $9,700 because we're already building up on the next one. Turning Point USA, $1,500. Made with Kindness, that's for Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Xana Kernodle, $1,500. Tunnel to Towers, $500. Libby and Abbey Ballpark, $1,000. American Online Giving, $500. Sherry Black Foundation, $1,180. Project Lifesaver, $1,000. Red Cross, $500. Intermountain Forensics, $15,300, and they identify Jane and John Does, all right? So if you're wondering why I'm, you know, like I try to get people to support the channel so that I can have my channel and we're able to do all these things. And over the last 6 years, since January of 2020, we've donated $283,112. Now, if that isn't a channel making a difference, I don't know what the hell is. All right. So you can listen to the trolls or you can be here and see what we're doing. I'm sure some of you don't like my personality, whatever the hell it is, but we do great work here. I'm proud of it. It is stressful at times. Yes, it is. All right. So if we can get the other two, what do we... we need 2 more gifted channel memberships. Or wait, 1 more? Is that 1 more? We got 1, 2, 3. No, we need 2 more gifted channel memberships to reach the challenge that was just put out there. All right, let's see if we can do that. Yeah, well, I think we do make a difference here. And it wouldn't be, if it wasn't for all of you, we wouldn't be able to do it. And last year was we did 46,000, we did 62,000 2 years ago, which was insane. And actually 3 years ago. Arizona family host Brianna Whitney asked Jim, do you believe you are still looking for Nancy Guthrie? Hey, look at that. That's Patty Mills. I think that makes the challenge right there. It's not memberships, but it's the same number. So hopefully that counts. Thanks, Patty Mills, who used to play for the Portland Trailblazers. You're the first female player to ever play for the Blazers. Thank you, Skrdunkin. I'm not really sure how to say that one, to be honest. Let's see. S-K-R Duncan. All right. She did not leave on her own. We know that. See? They're absolutely certain she did not leave on her own. She's very limited in her mobility. On Monday, Nanos appealed to a potential abductor while speaking with NBC. Just call us. I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He goes, just call us. Just call us. Family will tell you there's no questions asked here. Really? I don't think that works like that. I don't think when, there's blood on the ground, somebody's abducted from their home, and you're just set free, there's no questions asked. I don't think it quite works that way. Hey, thank you, Tamsters. There you go. Look at that, you guys. You reached the challenge mark there. That was cool. Let's see. Nano said evidence indicates Nancy was removed from her home at night against her will, and when asked why he believes she was kidnapped, the sheriff told CNN, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've got a gut feeling. A gut feeling. It's just obvious. Look at it. It's not one that you just like, somebody's missing. Look at, there's blood on the ground. She left everything around. You search the area. She's not there. She was abducted. Now what they need to do is, with that time frame they've got, try to find any vehicles anywhere on surveillance camera that are moving in the area. And when I'm saying in the area, I think I'm really referring to, like, here's where the Guthrie Nancy lives right here, right? So that's her house. And then I think there's a main road, like right here. What I would say is inside of, like, go to here, and then maybe even to like right over there, this, like this. And I would do something like try to find any surveillance. Basically, this is pretty good, right? Right inside like this here. And then let me show you what that looks like. I'll make it bigger. Yeah, right inside of that. Just find any movement inside of this grid around 2 a.m. And then see if you can sort of work backwards where that car came from. And in fact, like I was saying earlier, let's say you have a vehicle, a camera right here on this house that's filming the street. And the vehicle drives, there's no vehicle on that camera driving by. But then you have another camera on this house, and the vehicle does drive by right here. It drives by right there. It starts driving. Well, then you might look at, like, where did it enter in? Because it wasn't here, and it could have came out there or one of these side little roads. But you might be able to narrow it down that it came in right there. And then once you find the side street that it entered out on, you look for any other cameras that might have picked it up, and then you sort of track it back, and eventually you might make it back to, like, it looks like that might be the vehicle. So it's going to be tough because of the way the foliage is out there. It's pretty brutal. You know what? I think Google, let me see something. Hold on a second. I was just looking at, let me check it out. There's another, like Google Earth Online has this crazy new, like a query section. Let me see if I can remember it really quick. It'll show you where manhole covers are and stuff like that. Where was that? Experimental. So, where is that thing? There was something in here. I don't remember where it is right now, but you could type in, and it literally put, it was like AI or something in here. I tested it out the other day, and it was neat. You go like this, right? And then inside what you're looking at, it'll put where all the manhole covers are. It was really pretty interesting. I'll try to look into that. Maybe that's it. Let's go look for. We'll go to. God, my brain is just so slow these days. It's just, man. Austin, right? No, is it Austin? Not Austin. What's the name of this? Tucson. My God, Jesus. Here we go. Let's go back out to this. Tucson, Austin. What's the difference, huh? All right. Yeah, I mean, isn't that weird already? It's got these crazy lines on there. So let's see if right here, if I said license, Tucson, license plate readers. Does it do it? I don't see that. Let's see. Pump stations. Yeah. I don't know. There's some other way you're supposed to do it. I'd have to go look it up again. It was really neat, though. Explore buildings and solar designs. Yeah, it was really cool how it put everything down. Yeah, I know Austin's in Texas. That's why I switched to SBA. Wasn't that obvious, by the way I said that? I said Austin. I mean Tucson. I go, wow, same thing. Man, people like you are just, it's just so ridiculous. My God, I even said, I know it's not that. I know it's in Texas. Wow. Front door was unlocked. Well, some people say the front door was closed. You know? Like they say it was closed and it was locked. And then other people say it was wide open. And that might be because when the family got there, they left it open and then the cops got there. But what was it like when the family got there? So we were kind of relying on, a lot of stuff we're relying on the family. I think it's clear. I think it makes sense that they were dropped off at 9:45 because we know at 2 in the morning is when her pacemaker situation happened. And it looks like they believe she was in bed, sleeping, 2 in the morning. Yeah, but I know it's not in. I know this isn't Texas SBA. Come on, give me a break. Just give me one person. Give me a break. That'd be great. Let me go back to this. Let me do one thing really quick though. So we have. Is there a name of this area? Okay, it's Shadow Hills. Here we go. So cell towers in Shadow Hills, Arizona. Okay, let's see what we can find in here. Is there a zip code in there? Yeah. Let me go to this one. All right, right there. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, that one didn't work. There used to be this site that I could go to and it would just... Northern Tucson. Let's see. Is there a river up there? Tucson, Arizona details. There's a whole bunch of cell phones. Let me just zoom out a little bit. See what they're looking at on the map. They are right in here. So there are towers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure is this north. What's the name of that street right there? Ah, God. Yeah, so they have a tower, it looks like, right around, somewhere right in that. You can see them, believe it or not. What if I move? Hey, thanks, Hot Pocket. Apple Watch doesn't connect to pacemaker directly. It likely lost connection with the iPhone. Which, well, what if you have one of those iPhones that are actually a phone? A watch, the watch phone? So maybe that's what she was using. Which was running a pacemaker monitoring app. Okay, how about, let me look it up. Hold on a second. It says when an Apple Watch can be worn with a pacemaker, it It cannot run an app that directly monitors, controls, or replaces medical monitoring of device itself. The Apple Watch ECG app is not designed for a pacemaker user, as the electrical signal from a pacemaker can render ECG readings unreadable. Let's see. The ECG app can detect electrical spikes. So that would be on your phone then, right? The ECG app. I don't know. What do you? I guess what are you saying, that what they put in the articles is incorrect? That it stopped communicating with the Apple Watch? That'd be pretty crazy if that's incorrect. Yeah, we weren't talking about Brian Enton, though. Debuno. Yeah. They just kind of... I guess, couldn't the watch, though, does it send a signal through the watch to the phone, or what are they referring to? I mean, the phone was left at home, too. I don't know, maybe it's not quite exactly a pacemaker or whatever they're referring to. Maybe it's something totally different. But it still shows that it stopped connecting at that time. Yeah. I mean, I said it's, good on him for doing that. But what we have is these people that they always want to come in. They never jump somewhere else and talk about me when we come up with the dazzling information, like in the Charlie Kirk case, when I found the sliding fingerprints on the roof when I went out there to the campus, It's, look what I found. They just steal it. It's amazing. If I don't ever take somebody's work. I just say, hey, look, here it is. And I'm, right now I'm reading Daily Mail. I didn't do it. The pacemaker is transmitting data to the phone, and then she could see data on her watch. Oh, I see. So the watch... Okay, right. So it still wasn't connecting to her phone or the watch, whatever it is, because she wasn't at home. It's the same concept, though, right? Is that right? Hot Pocket? That makes sense. I doubt there's any cell towers in this area. They wouldn't allow it. There's no way they would allow it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're probably those kind that they're absolutely they're not going to be way up in the air. You can generally see cell towers. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work like that in here. There's usually, in a lot of cases you can find the cell towers and then the whole shadow of it. But obviously there's cell coverage there. It's not a huge area. Yeah, Court TV wanted me to come on for 2 cases. They wanted me to come on tonight for, let's see, what was it? Corey Richins, and I haven't been covering that, so I don't go on there unless I'm absolutely know the case, you know what I mean? So they wanted me to come on for join us evening regarding, Monique and Spencer Tepe. I know that case, but I'm really into this one now. And I didn't really realize there was new information, so the autopsy reports came out today in the Tepe case, and both of them were shot 7 and 9 times. I mean, a ridiculously shot, and it's all in the upper body, and it seems like they were moving around because there was an arm and so forth, and then 3 times in the right side of the chest for Monique, and I mean, he shot him in the head. I mean, it's just, the guy just shot endlessly, like something like 18 shots. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Corey Richens was interesting. We covered that when it happened, you know, but I just haven't really kept up with it. I don't know if it'll be, it's just, it is what it is. It's already, you know, all the information is known, right? And then they also wanted me to come on, let's see, that's right, and then it was Corey Richens tomorrow, and I said, yeah, I'm just not really, I have to know it, where I don't want to be a talking head where I just come on and go, yes, it looks like I got to know what the hell I'm doing, you know, so I have something original or interesting to add. So, you know, I do, it sucks. I wish I knew was always on top of everything that they're covering all the time, because I like going on there. It's fun going on there with Vinny and Do you guys want to, I think I do have that. If you're interested in, let me just grab that really quick. Just for a second, let me just read you guys. You guys are all pretty much aware of the Spencer Tepe case, right? So before we get back to this one, let me just read down here. So this says, the gunshots Spencer sustained were a wound to the left ear, a wound to the left side of the neck, a wound to the left upper chest, a wound to the left lower chest, a wound to the left hand, a wound to the left upper back, and a wound to his right arm near the elbow. I mean, just, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, unless there was a pass through at one point. And then down here, this is what Monique got. A wound to the right cheek, right in the face. And then 3 gunshot wounds to the right chest, all clustered together. You know, it seems like that they were laying on bed, and Spencer lays on the left side of the bed looking down on it, and Monique lays on the right side of the bed, and he's just like firing and firing. That's why he hit most of the left side of Spencer, and then her right side, because he was just kind of firing. 3 gunshots to the right chest, all clustered together. A wound to the right side of the torso, a wound to the right forearm, a wound to the right hand, and 2 wounds to the left upper arm. I mean, Jesus, that's crazy. But maybe we'll go over that more on another time. But they didn't say that. Remember, it was just a wound to the chest. I was thinking it meant like, oh, you broke my heart. Now it's just a massacre, just absolute lunacy going on in there. All right. So let's go move on to the 4th one in here. Right there. And thank you all anybody that's new here. If you could hit the subscribe button, that would be great. You know, become a subscriber. It doesn't cost anything. Hit that like button. We do have 612 likes. That's pretty good. All right. The disturbing secret evidence found at the home of Savannah Guthrie, missing mother, as cops and Star fear she did not leave the home of her own accord. This might have been earlier than the other ones. Wouldn't be surprised if the cartel was behind this. But how did they come up with it? I don't know. It just feels to me like it's somebody that... Gosh, you know, this is a hard one, right? Because usually I'm pretty good at just looking at it and then just really focusing in on, okay, this is what I think's happening here. So let's just look at it again, all right? I mean, you got the blood outside. You got the abduction happening around 2 in the morning. So she was sleeping. The Ring doorbell camera has been removed. Her phone, her purse, her car, all that stuff is left behind. She was obviously sleeping at 2 in the morning. And they go into the house. So just let's picture it like, okay, you're the person, right? And you're at the door. The first thing you do is you break off the camera wearing a mask or whatever. And then you go into the house. And the camera was probably removed because they thought it might film the car as they got her into it. But they go inside and she's sleeping. And they go in there and they like grab her. And maybe there's a struggle and they must hit her over the head or something to try to get her to be quiet. And then they get her outside. She's like bleeding, coughing on the ground. And they get her in the car and they drive away. But the camera's not picking it up anymore. So then you might think, well, why would you do that? You know, what would make you go into the house and remove her? Did they remove her because she knew them and could identify? I mean, but they went in there knowing that she would know who she was. So if it's somebody that she knows, she's likely not alive right now. If it's somebody that she doesn't know, as I said earlier, I think there's a good, not a good chance, but a chance she's still alive because they're looking for something else having her alive. Somebody that knows her and removes her means that they're killing her because she can identify them. Doesn't that make sense? Nancy also worked in an attorney's office and for the U.S. government on contracts. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like a stretch looking at stuff like that. It just doesn't feel like, why would there be so much anger? The reason I could think of to remove her. Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. Well, okay, like if you knew her, you could just kill her and leave her on the ground, right? And then they can't identify it because they're not alive. So there's got to be a reason that they removed her. What are you guys' reasons for them removing her from the house? Let's see if we can come up with some good ones that are really kind of make sense given what we know. Okay, because if it's somebody that knows her, why would you need to remove her? You just kill her right there. Or were you trying to make it look like she just disappeared to give yourself some time? I mean, you must know that they would... Once there was blood on the ground, that whole thing goes out the window. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Well, we're not talking about DNA under the fingernails. We're not talking about a trip to Disneyland. Right, so you're removing her thinking that she is alive. Yeah, you want her to be alive, even though she's bleeding a little bit at this point. But you hit her, you did something where she's bleeding, so you must have, used a lot of force on her, somebody that you want to keep alive, and somebody that's 84 years old. I mean, that's... Yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it, Hot Pocket? The removal part. It's really interesting. It's not planted. It's not planted. It's her blood. And it's actually, they tested the blood, and the blood is Nancy's. So remember a couple days ago when they said they've got DNA, they're going to test it? That was hers. So they're still trying to find DNA. And by the way, I mean, if this is like Koberger, and the only reason Koberger was arrested because of the knife sheath that had the DNA on it, and this guy didn't leave anything behind and was wearing gloves, man, this is going to be a very difficult to find her. It's going to come down to the cell phone information, but if you let's just put it this way. if these people showed up in a car that's like 2005, they didn't have their cell phone on, they wore gloves and a mask, this is like going to be a miracle. They're going to have to basically find the car on somebody's camera and try to work back and see if that car is possibly, it's going to be in the all the bushes that are around and how little the cameras can see. Man, this might be a miracle to solve. Okay. All right, guys, who's going to do another challenge here tonight? We need to get one more challenge. Maybe I'll do one. How about if you guys do 10 channel memberships, I'll do 5. All right, that's about as good as I can do. We're just trying to get it to... So that'd be 15. We've only got 19 gifted channel memberships. That's one of the worst nights we've had in a long time on that. And we have no coffees. We have nothing on the side. I mean, what a long day for just barely scraping it. Well, it says that she might die in 24 hours without her meds. They've said that. Kidnap people they think have lots of money. Yeah, but like they said, kidnapping doesn't really work anymore. You know what it seems... I know this is going to be really sort of controversial, but it just seems like somebody wanted her... she wasn't leaving willingly, so they had to hit her, and then they got her out of there. And I think... Well, I mean, here's one thing that's interesting. If somebody wants to get let's say, an inheritance, you have to find the body. Like, you don't, the insurance companies will say, hey, we don't even know she's not still alive, So that kind of doesn't work for that, And I think it's going to let's just wait and see what's going on with this ransom. If they literally put stuff in there that only the killer would know, despite the fact the sheriff has thrown out every single piece of information and then tried to backtrack it. I mean, you could plausibly, like psychics could do. Hey, thanks, Deb Uno. Hey, we just need 5 more of those. And then I'll give 5 myself. All right. Thank you very much up there to Deb Uno. And then we got Strawberry Season. We had somebody here, Strawberry Rain. I saw her today. I don't think it has anything to do with Epstein. She's a reporter. Who was warned to stop? We're not talking about, like, in Minnesota right now, are we? Hey, thanks, Chris Stew. Maybe you are transforming a few brains tonight. Hey, maybe. We'll see. Let's just use reason and common sense when we're working through this. I think we're kind of getting in the right track. It does almost feel like if the ransom note is correct, then it could actually be somebody who she doesn't know. And that's a way better scenario. And I'm hoping that is what the reality is. Let's just hope that that's the case. All right. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. Any of the weird crypto kidnappings? Yeah, I did that one. Remember the guy? They have him go into a lake and he killed himself, but we don't know. He was weird. He went to a park and there was a van there. I forgot his name, and his brother was all over. We did that one. A note sent to local TV station 2. Yeah, no, there was. It did go to other stations, for sure. I don't know where that is now. I saw it earlier, though, that other news outlets had gotten the same letter, but they didn't go forward with it, which was the right thing to do. They gave it to law enforcement, but TMZ was too oh my God, oh wow, holy crap. Which, you know what, here's what's strange. You know, in the Tyler Robinson case and TMZ and all these guys, they had this video from a house. And I went to the house when I went there, and they gave me so much more. It was, I got Tyler Robinson walking for like 2 minutes over here, and then his vehicle driving all the way up the street. But TMZ doesn't care about that. They just want, hurry up, give it to, oh, boom, and they throw it out there, and oh my God, it creates this whole thing. We actually try to figure out what the hell's going on. They just put out some thing. They don't even know what they're looking at. Have you ever noticed that? They don't even know what they have when they've got it. They just go, oh, hey, look what we got, everybody. And they just throw it out, and everybody clicks on it really quick. And they get so excited. And they don't know what they're looking at. Hey, greetings to Julie from Switzerland. I'd make a joke of some sort. I don't really have one though. What joke would you ever make about Swiss? I mean, yeah. All right, let's go through this one. Missing 84-year-old mother Nancy did not leave her $1 million home on her own volition. Police fear. A source has told the Daily Mail why. Oh, they told the Daily Mail why. Her stuff was left behind at the house. Keys, ID, purse, phone, everything. An insider close to the Star told the Daily Mail on Monday morning. It's not a situation where she voluntarily went away because she didn't take any of the things you would normally take if you voluntarily went out. Savannah doesn't believe that her mom just went out of her own accord, the source added, with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos backing up that theory at a press conference on Monday. He said, "We do in fact have a crime scene." Sheriff Chris Nanos added she is very limited in her mobility. She did not just walk out of there. There are other, and it almost seems like she was carried out, right? Because the images that we have, if we go back to in here, let's see. So I think, and I bet you if you ask Joseph Scott Morgan, he'll tell you that that's probably like aspirated or expirated blood spatter. That thin misting area here is like a cough or something like that, and then this is blood, and so that would mean that her face is relatively close to the ground because of how narrow the pattern is there, right? Like if she had coughed and let's say her head was 2 feet off the ground, it'd be a way wider dispersion, but it is very concentrated, so her head is likely, I would say, maybe 5 inches or so off the tile there. And so her face was down. They were carrying her out. She was probably struggling. Probably carried arms first, face down, I would think. Or maybe the other person's got her legs and they're just carrying her out. I don't know. I think there's 2 people. What do you guys think? I think it was very likely at least 2 people. Maybe we can do a poll on that one. All right, here we go. Let's see what you guys say on that. Could be from a nosebleed. Right, could be from nosebleed, but that means that the blood would have gone down her throat and then she coughed it up. Or it could be, I guess a sneeze might create a similar thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think one person. I think you have to have somebody. I mean, it's possible for sure, right? He could have pulled up outside, went over, removed the camera, and just went in and did it, and then dragged her out on his own. You know. So I wouldn't rule that out, and I'm probably like 60% that it's more than one, but definitely possible with one person. Can't argue with that. She's very limited in her mobility. There are other things at the scene that indicate she did not leave on her own. You mean like the blood on the ground? On Monday evening, Nanos told the Daily Mail that detectives now fear Nancy was abducted from her bedroom as she slept. Here, hold on. I'm going to take a picture of that. Hold on one second. All right, there you go. Would be concerned living in the neighborhood and just not knowing. All right, you guys, we got, what do we have up here? We had 5, I think we got, after I said that, we had 5, 6, and then we'll count Derek, 7, 8. Thanks, Derek. Let's see. I thought this was done by at least 2 guys, and Nancy was carried out. Oh, yeah, well, I guess you're saying the same thing. Carried out to the getaway. Very cool. Yeah, I agree. So that's 8. We need 2 more gifted memberships, and then I'll donate 5. All right? We can do it, freaks. We can do it. Oh, I saw that thing about Jill Biden's ex-husband was arrested for murder. The hits just keep on coming for those guys, I tell you. But it's not Jill Gray. I know. It's never them. It's something else. On Monday evening, Nanos told the Daily Mail that detectives now fear Nancy was abducted from her bedroom as she slept, as it emerged on Tuesday. That blood was found in her home. Savannah made an emotional public plea for prayers. Police now fear that time is running out to find Nancy, who relies on daily medication, and bring her home safely. Hey, welcome, Julie. And thank you, Julie Cole. And Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. All right, here we go. I'm going to give 5. I already gave away my free ones that I can give away. And so this is costing me the same amount that it costs you. But it's always good. There we go. Boom, chakalaka. Hey, thank you guys. Look at that. Sarah Shroom. Then we had Music Maker, Sarah Shroom, Julie 78 up there. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, and Music Maker. There you go. Hey, thank you guys. Very cool. Appreciate it. Her Apple Watch stopped syncing with her pacemaker at 2 a.m. on Sunday, suggesting she was taken from her home, where the watch was later found around then. You know what this is reminding me of? Molly Tibbetts' case, even though that's a totally different scenario where it just has a feel like, man, there's this person missing, in kind of a rurally sort of feeling area, and you know, he's just missing. And then at some point, a clue will come in, and it'll be like things will start moving. But this is a very difficult one, given what we know that they have now. They may have a whole hell of a lot more than we know, but that's only when criminals are stupid. You know, if they didn't have a cell phone with them and he wore gloves, that means there'll be no DNA found in the house. And if they wore like a balaclava or some kind of, which might be likely if you're removing Ring cameras, the camera was probably moved. I wouldn't be surprised if the camera was moved first, then the car put into place, then he or they went into the house, and that's when they got her and then put her, and they took off. But they removed the camera before even placing their car in a place to exit the area. Doesn't that make sense? Because you wouldn't want ever to have your car on the camera, so that means you would park out of view, sneak up to the house, remove the Ring camera, then you'd move your car into place, knowing now that there isn't a camera filming your car and putting it out onto the cloud. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're also investigating the possibility that a ransom demand had been made. Multiple newsrooms. Okay, here it is. Multiple newsrooms reported receiving what appear to be copies of the note, including TMZ. See, and I guarantee you this. TMZ was late to the game. The other stations got it. They called police and said, hey, we got this ransom note. And they go, hey, can you keep it quiet? TMZ got it and went, woo! Yeah! And just threw it out there as quick as possible. And so now it would have been, I guess, I don't know what difference it would make. I mean, what the killer or whatever, the abductor at this point, what would he want? Like, why did he send it to TMZ, for example? Does that even make sense? I was thinking about that earlier. What good did it do to send it to TMZ? Why didn't you just send it to Savannah or, NBC where she works to give it to her? You sent it to TMZ for what reason? Or, for that matter, why any of the stations? They're not going to be able to send you any money. It's almost like they wanted publicity, whoever put that out. Is that Savannah right there? That doesn't look like her. Well, I guess that she's not made up like when she's on TV, I guess. Looks pretty similar, though. You also would have to know that what the other working camera inside. Right. Yeah, and I guess there was one in the room that's missing, too. So, how did that work? And that's just weird. I mean, why did you need to remove the one in the room? I guess, right? I mean, what would be the point of removing the one in the room? You've got to be seen on camera if there was one in the room. We've just heard that a camera was removed in the room, but we don't know if that's reality or not. Yeah, we've been talking about that all night, Gisela. Your thing wasn't new. We've all been saying it could be family, it could be somebody they don't know. I'm actually hoping it's somebody they don't know. It might make it harder to solve, but there's a chance she's alive. If it's a family member, there's no way she's alive at this point. Or I guess they could have worn a balaclava to make sure that she wouldn't know who the hell they were if it was a family member or somebody she knew. But if it's somebody she knew, I'm not sure what they're getting out of it, though, by taking her away. It seems like they would just This is crazy. You know what's crazy about it is it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. You know, we've done thousands of cases on this channel, and this is one that just doesn't. It doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, and maybe that's the point, I guess. Her Apple Watch stopped syncing with her pacemaker at 2 a.m. Nancy was last seen at her home in Tucson, Arizona, home around 9:45. Let's see if there's anything newer that's come out, because these guys pump stuff out. Jeez. Dog the Bounty Hunter's new stepson, because that's obviously he got remarried, arrested for allegedly shooting teenage son dead. Whose son? Hunter stepson is now facing... Oh, like he shot his grandkid dead. Man, I don't even have time for that one. That's... what would the Olympic connection? You know, somebody literally said, "Hey, do you guys think that somebody didn't want her to work at the Olympics, and they want so they." What do you mean? Because now Savannah's not going to the Olympics to cover it. That was what the goal was. It sounds insane to me. Well, who's doing it? Some other anchor? Hey, take out Savannah's mom and keep her busy, and then we'll let her go after, because I want to get the coverage. I'm next in line. See what I mean? That's not logic, reason, or common sense. Yeah, it does. It automatically puts it in the cloud. We went over that earlier. Big solves. How's it going, man? Yeah, Ring cameras put it on the cloud, so removing the camera doesn't help hide information. Like if you take it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm safe. They don't have any footage. So really, they removed the camera so it wouldn't record anything that was happening after it was removed. It likely recorded them walking up to the camera and removing it, because those things are fisheye lenses, so there's no way. So they have that on the cloud somewhere, or in the cloud, where they're removing the camera. And maybe plural cameras, About the letter, that was very... Oh, did they? Let's see. Can you send me a link to that, ghost stuffering? Here, let me give me my email here. All right. Hold on. Jesus, what the heck? Can somebody else... My computer's just crawling along. Oh, this is going to have to be reset. Hold on. I can tell. Can you guys still even hear me? This is crazy. Huh. Okay. Are you guys able to hear me right now? Something weird is happening. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I'm still here. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it's pretty crazy. There was like this strange... Everything was slowing down. I couldn't move. All right, let me get this fixed again. The screen's going to go dark for 2 seconds as I put in the chat. I have to change it again. So here we go. Now back to here, and there we go. think it still works. There we go. Put it back in there. All right. Should be, everything's good to go. Did you guys even lose me at all? I think it was just on my end. Oh, yeah. So what I was going to say, can you email me the ABC, and here's my email right there. All right. So if you can email me that, that'd be cool. All right. So there's the email. If it was sexually motivated, why would they? I know. I mean, well, they might take her because she might contain DNA that would lead back to them, sunshine. Oh, whoa, holy crap, everybody. Look at that. 3 collies. Wait. Oh, look at that at the top of the screen. You hear that? Oh, man. I should have had that turned on. We haven't heard that in a million years, but we could see the cat eye donation at the top. My personal opinion is this isn't a ransom. Most likely random. Either way, I pray for the family. Thank you, Gray, for your insight and all you do. Well, thank you. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's random. Well, what do you think, why they picked her? They must have surveilled her house for a little bit because they knew to get rid of the cameras, and she was alone. Remember that one article talked about she lives alone, she's elderly, she doesn't have very good mobility, she's and not very good security, and so like a perfect target for somebody. You went back and screamed? What do you mean? I don't get it. Well, if anybody knows what ABC article that she was talking about, maybe you can forward it to me. I'm just checking my email. Vulnerable and has money. Was she independently wealthy, or has she really got money like her daughter is taking care of her, which they should? You know, I mean, her daughter makes, apparently like $7 million a year. It seems like it's pretty easy to take care of your entire family, as a matter of fact. I mean, if I made $7 million a year, after like 4 years or so, I'd probably pay off every single other family member's house and give them $1 million a piece and whatever. It's just like, who wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, 2 a.m. is when make decent money. Yeah. Well, what does her other daughter, what does Annie do? Nobody's sending me that email, so I'm going to have to go look it up. ABC News ransom letter. Okay, 41 minutes ago. Is this it?
Crunchyroll is now available.
Crunchyroll? What the hell is that?
Enjoy the latest releases.
Now to the 4-year-old Nancy Guthrie, seen here, was abducted from her home near Tucson, Arizona over the weekend, pointing to new signs of forced
entry. Is this it right here?
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
And tonight, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says they are aware of reports about a possible ransom note here sent to a local TV station in Tucson, Arizona, as well as TMZ.
Yeah, I think we got a weatherman here, you guys. Look at the way he points to the, watch this. It's funny.
Reports about a possible ransom note here sent.
Okay. We know this guy was doing weather before this. I mean, there's no doubt.
To a local TV station in Tucson, Arizona, as well as TMZ. Detectives, though, are not ruling out the possibility of a ransom situation or perhaps a robbery gone wrong.
Every lead
and tip is important.
Well, what was it? I thought you were saying there was like special insight into this. Yeah, I don't see it, man. If you can send me the email, that'd be great. That's how we do it. There's a high of a ransom note. I don't know what that means. A writer, poet, jeweler, based in Tucson. Oh, okay. So so I've seen Annie, Annie Guthrie around on Google, so that might be the person you're talking about. I mean, I know where she lives and everything. This is, so the way it's set up is Annie lives right over here, and she used to live right here, even in the same year, 2025, right over here. And I have a program, and it turns out that the phone of Nancy pinged right at this house here. And that's where Annie lived just prior to moving into this one. So it would make sense. It wasn't, I was just wondering, there's only one pin of her phone pinging somewhere, and that's where it was. Let's see. All right, right there. I think she's. I thought she was 50 something. That's funny. I messaged Joseph Scott Morgan the picture a minute ago, and he responded. He actually said, I said, do you think that looks like expirated blood spatter? And he says, possibly the finer droplets. Think Travis Alexander's sink. Isn't that amazing? I said exactly that on the show. I said, remember the Dyatlov case? The sink? It looked just like that. Isn't that funny? I think that's absolutely crazy. I mean, out of all the things, he said exactly the same thing that I said. I mean, literally, think Travis Alexander's sink. That's so funny. I mean, what are the odds of that? He said, possibly the finer droplets, think Travis Alexander's sink. Man. I guess I actually know what I'm doing every once in a while. It's weird. I know, it's crazy. Oh yeah, we were going to look up. Let's just see if there's any really recent news in here. Let's see. It says you pulled out of the Olympics to continue investigation. Fox Phoenix, 19 minutes ago. What is this one? Tips to minimize digital footprint. What does that mean? The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie is igniting a larger conversation of internet safety for the elderly. Fox, okay. Not sure. I mean, was there any indication that the internet's part of this? Okay, here we go. Let's go to this article. This is CBS News. Please, are you going to let me read it? Ah, you bastards. They never, God, it's just, even CBS News, look at this, man. And you go, like they always do, subscribe for a month. What am I looking at here? Oh, they sent the email? Okay, let me go look. Oh, well, that's the one I was just looking at. I think, and it didn't let me look at it. So Seth just sent me something that says CBS ransom note, and then I click on it and it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Oh well. It didn't work, Seth. So I see the link here. It's just when you go to it, it doesn't. Oh wait, this time it. Well, that opened up. CBS confirmed ransom note. Okay, so let's see if we can read this one. So this is CBS. This is like Arizona Central, but it's referring to CBS News. CBS News reported that in Tucson affiliate KOLD News received a ransom note for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, as the search for missing 84-year-old widened. According to CBS, Pima County Sheriff Department investigators analyzed the letter, are taking it seriously, oh boy, and shared it with the FBI, whose agents decided to share it with the NBC host. Probably wondering, do you know somebody that might, there might have been, God, wouldn't you love to read that thing? The note, which KOLD received February 2nd, contains specific details about the home and what Nancy Guthrie was wearing that night. The report added that investigators wanted to keep the note private, and the Tucson station agreed not to broadcast the information about it. But TMZ was first to report February 3rd that it received the alleged letter demanding payment for the release of Nancy Guthrie, who was reported missing from her Catalina Foothills home just north of Tucson on February 1st. Pima County Sheriff, let's see, what did they say? That it received an alleged letter. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said TMZ obtained a copy of the note as well. Authorities believe Guthrie, 84, was abducted sometime overnight. While acknowledging the report, the sheriff's office wouldn't confirm the validity of the alleged ransom note. Well, we are taking all the tips and leads very seriously. Yeah, remember that. Anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives, who are coordinating with the FBI. TMZ reported that it received the letter the morning of February 3rd. Afterward, Mary Coleman, a news anchor with KOLD News in Tucson, posted on social media to report that her newsroom also got the ransom note. It says, this blurb was released by PCSE regarding Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Many tips have been coming in, including to local newsrooms. Our newsroom also received what appears to be a ransom note, and we have sent it to law enforcement. I will be out in the field working on the story and speaking with officials tonight, and will share any info we confirm. I don't think that didn't give us anything in here about it. Like, where's this other one that talks about the details? Okay, that one, maybe. The note, which the station received Monday and agreed not to report on, contained specific details about the home and what Nancy Guthrie was wearing that night. Now, we already knew that stuff, although we would not confirm the accuracy of that information or the legitimacy of the note. It's like any other piece of evidence, Nanos told CBS News. You give it to us, you give us a lead, we're going to look at it, every aspect of that lead. And he said the FBI reviewed the note and made the decision to share it with Savannah Guthrie. Authorities had hoped to keep the information from becoming public. Right, but there you go. See, like, yeah, this is exactly what we were saying a while ago, you guys. It says, he said the FBI received the note and made the decision, but right down here it said, authorities had hoped to keep the information from becoming public, but the note was obtained by the TMZ jackasses, which reported on it before contacting the sheriff's office. That's exactly what we said happened. Isn't that amazing? The Pima County Sheriff's Department had earlier said on social media it was aware of reports circulating about possible ransom notes, adding anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives. Surveillance video from a home security system has yielded nothing so far, Nanos told CBS News. He said investigators believe the system may have been set to automatically delete footage after a short period of time. Well, I mean, it's not going to delete it the same day, you know. And they're attempting to recover it through forensic means. Nanos previously told CBS News that investigators believe the 84-year-old was abducted from her home in the middle of the night over the weekend, and he described it as a crime scene. Three Collie says, when I say random, I meant I'm a second-generation Arizona native, and this stuff happens here for no reason. People prey on senior citizens. Things go wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And she's found safe. Yeah, I mean, it's just... I mean, just think about it. You know, you lived out your whole life, and you're just sort of living those comfortable last years, you know. And then some psycho comes into your house, and you're just, you're you know, possible last moments are, you're freaked out, you know. You don't get to have that peaceful time. You know, I was actually wondering if they threw something on, I was looking at the roof wondering if they just chucked something up there. That's kind of, people don't look up there, if you can believe that. But yeah, it would stick out like a sore thumb. I've never actually seen a sore thumb, but they say they're really bright and you can see them from satellites. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home Saturday night, but no one knew she was missing until she didn't show up for church the next morning. The sheriff has repeatedly said Guthrie, who lives alone, could not have wandered away from her home because she has no cognitive issues. He also experienced... well, I mean, you can wander away without having cognitive issues, but that's not what happened in this case. He also expressed concern that she needs access to medication that she must take daily. The clock is literally ticking. You've placed her in a great jeopardy without giving her meds that are critical to her, Nano said. Again, like I have said, could be fatal if she doesn't get these meds. The sheriff said it's unclear how many people may have been involved in the apparent abduction. It could be one, it could have been more, I don't know, he said. A little bit of blood was found inside Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home. A law enforcement source familiar with the case told CBS News. And what appeared to be a small amount of dried blood was seen next to a doormat outside the front door of the home on Tuesday. Yeah. Well, yeah, well, not Travis Alexander, that case was just nuts. I mean, Jodi Arias was psycho. Really interesting case. If that case was today, it would just blow everything away. The way they gave out all the information, all the photographs were already out there. It was crazy. Yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts here? I don't really have much more to add. I don't want to just keep droning on. But it's been cool having a bigger crowd in here. Make sure to hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. The sheriff reminds me of the brown. Okay, let's see. Whoever took her was in no way concerned about her health. Right. I don't think kidnappers want attention, but a high-profile situation. But if the ransom notes are different, then the plan has obviously been thought out very well. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the famous kidnappings are high-profile, but today's different. ICE. Oh, ICE has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Who's saying ICE is involved? I mean, no way, man. Hey, thanks, Derek. Let's see. Great. Her pacemaker doesn't set off an alarm to a monitoring company when she traveled too far. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought that's what somebody said earlier, that it does do that. Well, I don't know if it does it when it just loses connection. But I would imagine it would do it if it's on and working and it doesn't detect a pulse. That's what I would think. I would think it would be less priority if it just lost connection. Right, the ransom took a day. It's almost like they heard about it. Ooh, a ransom. Hey, yeah. Maybe we can get some sucker to send us something, a ransom. I don't think Savannah has spoken to the press yet. Hey, Vicky, I've been to Melbourne. I lived there for 3 months when I was 16 years old, when my dad was on sabbatical at Melbourne. I don't know if it's Melbourne University, whatever the big one there is. Chat said they think this is an ICE revenge crime. That's ludicrous. Yeah. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. That's just somebody being a troll, Timothy. There is nobody in here with a rational mind that thinks this is an ICE revenge crime. Unless the guy's name is ICE. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty close to... They're talking about the immigration custom, ICE, Well, thanks, Scooby. How long have we been on here? Oh, 3 hours and 8 minutes. That means I've been on 6 hours today. I think it's about time to call it a night. Got to go sit down and do something else. I did get my 10,000 steps in, though, today. It was pretty amazing. During the Tyler Robinson hearing, I did 20 minutes, but I watched the show on the big screen. I had to get the first part in, and then I walked the other 4,000 in a 2-mile walk later. So I was able to get that in. It's pretty amazing. So man, I don't know where I'm leaning at this point. To me, it makes more sense that it's somebody that she doesn't, let's see. It might be somebody that she might barely know, but it's somebody that maybe she doesn't know, and they took her out of there for some other reason. And hopefully that means she's still alive. But it does, but then there's also elements to make you think that it's somebody close to her that wanted her out of there. Maybe she's just living too long, and maybe somebody hired somebody to do something, right? A hired hit. I mean, this is very, it seems incredibly professional, doesn't it? That's right, Debu now. I mean, it seems pretty professional. Like, this seems like, what if it was a hired situation by somebody, who wants her out of the picture, and it's sort of in the background. That kind of makes sense too. because that means their whole goal was to get her out of there, and they did something with her. And I guess the problem with that, though, is if you're taking her out for life insurance, or her estate purposes, and she's missing, then there's no resolution to that, because the insurance companies aren't going to pay out. So that's kind of, you'd almost have to have a body that's found, and then somebody else is benefiting, but there's no way to tie back that person back to the person who paid somebody to do it. I just said that, Steve. I already went over that earlier too. I just said it again. Anyways, let's see. Could be some family members of the caregiver. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, they probably... Well, it was broken into, right? So the person who got into the house didn't have a key or a way to get in other than breaking in. It seems like a family member, or it could... I guess, you could say it could be a family member but didn't want to go in because they'd say, who has a key? So you break in intentionally, knowing even if you had a key, So that's one way to look at it. I mean, if you're really thinking through it, if you got into the house with a key, I mean, I guess you could try to make it look like they let you in, but then they got rid of the camera. Very complicated. Again? Are you going to send in a super chat, Karen? I was just about to get out of here. Oh, man. Yeah, we've gone over this like 10 times already. Here's the street. Yeah, there's no... the streets seem to be lower, and then the homes up a little bit, and they're all have this brush around. See that? And there's no lights. There are very little surveillance cameras would get any kind of a view of anything at all. I mean, hell, you go up on this street, and I guess there's a house back there, but, it's right through there. You can't really see it. And then here's another one. Right there. But see, there's always something in the way. This one's got a little clear, But still, just enough brush to make it difficult. Like if just for a moment it drove by here, you'd see something. All right. So thank you to Sandy Shirley gifting a membership. We had Michelle H gift one. Streams galore. 3 months. Then Jim Lawn. Then Danny Mitchell gifted a membership. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury, super chat. Then Beth, what is that? Beth Realtor. And then Timothy Cecil. And then S.K. Skriduncan. Tiffany Pebs, my favorite online detective. Go get him, Gray. Hey, look at that. That's Pebs showed up in here tonight. Pretty cool. Pebs W. Remember the old that whole family died from, what was it? Some kind of fungus or something in the water. That's what she thought. Let's see. Michelle H. KKJX2MS. Then Kelly Snyder gifted 5. Then we had Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Charlotte Denny. Eagle Stars and Stripes. Lady Jane. Daniel Gosen. 8675309. Dennis the Agent. September 9. Lynn Lowe, then Tamsters, then Jim Wan. Charisse Rodriguez gifted 1, then Richard Watts. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Timothy Cecil. John RD2, then Patriot Revolution. Rock Girl Media. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury again. Cynthia Gamez, 3 months, thank you. Then Lady Jane C, then Mary Melinda, 3, then Charlotte Denny gifted one. Then Patty Mills, the ex-Portland Trailblazer. And then S.K. Skridunkin again, and gifted one. Then Tamsters gifted 5. Then Missy 6, 16 months. Thank you guys for hanging around for so long. Yeah, just hide that soundboard fool. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They've never... Yeah, he's always here trolling around. So you'll never be trolling again. See you later. Yeah, you guys are awesome. So then we had Hot Pocket, Deb Uno, Strawberry Reason, Chris Stew, and Deb Uno, new member. Welcome. And then Sandy Shirley gifted one. Then Derek Sherman, Super Chat. And Saturn Dreaming of Mercury gifted 5. Julie Cole. And thanks, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. For Above and Beyond. Thank you. Julie 78. Then Sarah Shroom. And then I gifted 5. Then Music Maker gifted 1. And then 3 Collie gifted a double cat eye and then another one. That it isn't a ransom. What was he saying? He said, I meant I'm a second generation Arizona. Happened here for no reason. Yeah, like there's just no reason. Man, it's crazy. It's just weird. The weirdest part is that they took her out of the home. You know? If it's not a ransom, then why did you take her out of the home? And let's say you took her out... if the whole goal was to kill her, why did you take her out of the home? There's no reason to do that. I mean, you could have, just to say it, like you could have strangled her and it would be nothing. You just leave the house. So there was something going on. And it's also interesting that they wanted to really turn off the cameras. If you had yourself protected, it's almost like these people could be recognizable on the camera. But like if you had a facial cover and so forth, why do you need to care if the camera's on in there? What were they doing in there? Maybe this is just a random Koberger type killer, and that'll make it a hell of a lot harder to solve. So we have Derek Sherman and Timothy Cecil, CD Daly, and Bird Brain. That's their name, okay? I didn't call somebody a bird brain. Even though I'm known to, that's what I might sound like. Hey, thanks, Carrie Summers. Right there at the buzzer. Appreciate it. Anyways, did you guys enjoy the stream tonight? It's kind of a long one. I think we pretty much covered everything that there is in there and went over... the possibilities. That's not her home there. That's just, I stopped there after walking around. She's right over there. Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks, Scooby. All right. And by the way, for the people here, do you guys like the new setup on the screen where I have a camera over there, the little comments over here, you can see chat there. I can put maybe who we're talking about, a picture here, then up here's got the list, and then the super chats and whatnot show up in the upper right hand corner. The new rustic look with the wood. I think it's kind of cool. What do you guys think? Anyways, thank you guys. We'll just keep everybody updated. We're going to keep going here. Anything that comes out, I mean, I appreciate Brian Enton being, at the scene currently. He's going to obviously be able to get some stuff that we're not going to be able to get. And by the way, when you work for networks like that, you always get special information on the side, and it's hard to get the same thing if you're just a regular person. But what I do is I collate stuff. Like I get all the information and then try to put it together and back engineer what happened in a case. All right. Oh, you guys like it? Cool. Yeah, I think it's peaceful feeling too, Sort of got the wood and I don't know, it's weird. But thanks, guys. And I really appreciate you guys' support. You guys kicked ass on this show, and you know, we can buy in the other shows. It's a pretty good day. And we're just going to keep on trucking. We'll see how it goes. First thing I noticed was the layout, like, a lot. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's sweet. Yeah. And there's Carrie Summers again. It's been a while since I've been here. Been in here. Yeah, where you been, Carrie? Jesus. You know? God, you left us out in the cold. Right. There's no evidence. You know, the sister and the husband are interesting just because they're the last people. But you got to look at it like, well, we also know that they did drop her off because she did go to sleep. Hey, thanks so much, Chris O'Connell. Right there, again at the buzzer. Man, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Chris O'Connell, Marty's Bar and Grill, Lisa Belson, on those days where we're just absolutely struggling. They've brought us to the finish line and made it. But hey, it's kind of nice to have nights where a lot of other people are helping out. And that's what allows us to do all the great stuff that we do. And keep my channel floating. They wanted a cryptocurrency ransom paid. Isn't that crazy? And it sounds like they think it might be legit. If it was just totally goofy, would they have got a hold of Savannah and said, hey, look what we got? I don't think so. I think there's something in the note that they're wondering, hey, does this sound like something she might have been wearing, or, you know, went through that? That's what I think. Why would they kill the mom then? So, anyways, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow, and who the heck knows what tomorrow will bring. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to watch my end of the show wrap with Lori Daybell, who dances for you. As I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And here we go.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector,
and I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Full deflector, interceptor,
And I'm meaner than a spectre.
with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya.
I have no agenda, I'm a pretender.
And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense to work through true crime cases. Thank you very much for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Bye. See you around.
All right, see you guys.